I've always wanted to look in one of those.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just like a little periscope.
That's what my klepto friend obviously wanted to do. So,
Oddly, I've always been interested in surveying, and I would kind of like, if I were to have a fallback career, I think I might want to be a surveyor.
I kind of feel you on that.
Yeah.
I think you use the instrument, you take the readings.
You're outside.
A lot of times. You get to play with the theodolite.
Yeah. So what's not to love? All right, yeah. All right. So Blake Lively, we're going to start with her, is trying to walk back two emotional distress claims in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, but not entirely. Baldoni's lawyers argue in their new filing she's trying to, quote, have it both ways by dropping the claims without prejudice, which means she could refile them later, which also while also refusing to hand over her therapy records.
Are we seeing what is the beginning of, I think, working towards a settlement and all this stuff?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's movement.
Yeah,
so who knows?
It's too much. I don't think she could have anticipated how far this would go and how detrimental it would be in public perception about her.
But the actress's legal team had fired back, calling the filing a press stunt and saying that they're simply streamlining and focusing the case. They emphasize that she still alleges emotional distress under other active claims like sexual harassment and retaliation. The court now has to decide whether to force Lively to release her medical documents or dismiss the dropped claims once and for all.
Claims are scurrilous.
Shiloh Jolie, the 19-year-old daughter of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, debuted a new nickname, which is Shy, S-H-I, during a dance performance at a Los Angeles event for designer Isabel Marant's collection launch with Net-a-Porter on May 29th.
So I was watching the evening news last night, and this did not make it.
No?
Somehow, this story.
Shiloh choreographed a dance for singer-songwriter Luella's song Naive and used Shy as her choreography credit. And this comes after she legally dropped Pitt from her name in August of 2024, becoming Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie. She filed for the name change on her 18th birthday, hiring her own lawyer. Now, her sister Vivienne also dropped Pitt in a playbill for The Outsiders, where she worked as a producer's assistant.
Is debuting your new nickname a thing now?
No, I don't know.
Because I would like to debut my nickname. I want to be known as the Wombat.
The Wombat.
Wombat.
Wow. Steve, the Wombat. Sounds like something Gary Lauer would make up for him.
Wombat.
You're shotgun, though, right?
I'm shotgun, yeah.
Shiloh's move follows her partner's finalized divorce in December of 2024. Now, Jack Wagner has gotten married. He and Michelle Wolf have tied the knot.
Huh.
Is Michelle Wolf
the comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the same
That can't
gal?
be.
I don't think so.
She's
way older
He's
than
much
her.
older, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there an E at the end of Wolf?
No, WOLF. So the wedding was confirmed by the bride, who shared a photo from the big day on social media, writing, "We did it, married in front of our little family."
Not her.
Okay.
No, different one.
The actor hasn't posted anything yet about the union, but according to Wolf's post, they started dating in 2021 and went public with their romance that same year.
So he was on, what was he, Melrose Place? He was also on General Hospital, one of the soap operas.
Beautiful.
Bold and the Beautiful. And what was his quasi-hit?
Oh,
All I need
is just a little more time to be sure what I feel
isn't all in my mind.
That's the one. So he was previously married to Christina Wagner from 1993 to 2006, briefly engaged to Heather Locklear in 2011 as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let me see what else I have here for you. Yeah, you know what? I saw this story yesterday. Our buddy Mark Maron, his WTF with Mark Maron podcast is ending after 16 years.
I saw this.
Yeah.
I think he's, what I was reading is that he's
tired of doing it.
Tired of doing it.
Yeah, so he announced the news on his Monday show, saying it's nice to be able to end things on our terms. We started the show on our terms. We grew it on our terms, and we will end it on our terms. He and his producing partner, Brendan McDonald, made the decision together. He said, explaining that the pair behind the two-team groundbreaking podcast are simply burnt out. To open his show, he said, WTF will turn 16 years on September 1st. 16 years, it's a long time, and it's a long time to do anything. And John Mulaney was his guest at the time. He said, all of a sudden, You're old and you realize you've been doing something for a long time. And this started in the old garage. No one knew what a podcast was. I was coming out of a horrendous divorce. I was wanting to figure out how to continue living my life. Things were not looking good for me. And he said, when Brennan and I started this thing, all we knew was that we were going to do it every Monday and Thursday. And there was no way to make money. There was no way that we knew how to build an audience or anything. We were just doing it in the garage. In the beginning, that was just a garage filled with junk. And it slowly evolved into the show that became what you listen to twice a week. 16 years. We've been doing this, and we've decided that we had a great run, and now basically it's time, folks. It's time. WTF is coming to an end, and it is our decision.
How much do you think he's made off of that? I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know how you.
I'll tell you this, and this is the truth. The people who got to it first, and he was one of the absolute first.
Yeah.
They're the ones that make and continue to make the most money off their podcast.
Yeah. I don't know what platform he's on, or what, how Rogan had Spotify buy it and pay all that money. So I don't know if he had a similar situation, but it's incredibly. It's one of the most popular podcasts
Continues
out there.
to be.
He has to be making. He has to have monetized it quite a bit.
Yeah, he has his own site where he archives a lot of podcasts, and people can subscribe and get it earlier than it's released.
Okay,
so
that's his
on
business
own
model.
platform.
Yeah.
Got it. So
We
he
should
said,
get him on.
Would love to talk to him.
Yeah.
I love having that guy by here. Every time he's been by, I really enjoy the conversation. The final episode will be sometime in the fall, and Marin said that they will try to have as many people on as possible before they end what he called the home stretch. He said, thankfully, we both realized together that we're done. There was no convincing or pushback, arguing. We were done, and it's okay. It's okay for things to end. He said this was a show that started when there were no podcasts, and now there's nothing but podcast.
It's true. And again, to those ones who got in early, they're the ones that continue to dominate. I think he can take a break if he wants to come back and revisit, reactivate it, or do special shows. He can do that. But it's funny that you made mention about it. Literally was in his garage.
Yeah.
His cats would periodically wander.
Well, when he had Obama by, was it still in the garage?
It was in his modified, brand new, better garage.
Yeah,
But that was like
But it was
a
still
real
part of his house.
That was a surprise that nobody saw coming. That Obama did it, and it really changed the game for Marin.
Yeah.
He became huge after that. I was lucky enough to have dinner with him a couple of years ago, and he's just the nicest guy. He's really fascinating. I've been a fan of that podcast for a long, long time.
Yeah.
My wife has listened to every single one. He puts it all out there when his fiance died a couple of years ago. It just is awful and tragic. And then he talked about how awful and tragic that was. He's just one of the best.
You know, it was one of the wild ones to listen to is when he defended his friend Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And he was as honest as you could be. I mean, that's what I think really got him and secured his place in the legendary, if there's a legendary realm of podcasters.
Yeah. When did we start ours? Was it 2005?
We were right out of the gate. Yeah,
When we started here.
I had to explain to Bill what a podcast was.
Sure, but still
it was
early quote unquote tech. I mean, it was early, format.
And the original, he said, we'll just put up the 10 best minutes of the day. And I said, well, listen, we both said, Preston, if someone wants to come and seek out the show, put the whole show up.
Yeah.
Give them something that they can listen to in the afternoon, and maybe through attrition will become the show they listen to in the morning.
So his show is turning 16, ours is 20. We're making just as much money as he is.
It's unbelievable.
So he said this doesn't mean that he won't ever have a talk or appear on a podcast again, but he's looking forward to starting another chapter in his life. And he had thanked his iconic podcast fans while teasing his new chapter, which includes his new Apple show with Owen Wilson. It's called Stick, and that's coming out Wednesday. It's about golf, and the documentary focused on him called Are We Good as well. So he's got some stuff coming up, and he's also working on a new comedy special for HBO, which is going to be out at some point this year.
That Stick series looks very Lasso-esque.
I really hope they do golf. I hope it'll be fun for golfers to watch.
I like him as an actor, I think, way more than I do as a stand-up comedian.
He's very good as a stand-up. I would agree but he is a really good actor.
Yeah.
And his podcast and his interview chops are top level.
So we're working on getting him on, just talking with some people that know him. And then also, we were giving away Matt McCusker tickets during Stupid Question we'll have him on tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. Excellent. All right, we'll get to the bottom.
Literally just happened.
We'll get to the bottom of why he doesn't like me.
Volleyball gate.
Yeah. All right, I have some breaking news.
What?
Yeah, this is breaking news. I can't not
Breaking news.
pass this along to you. Sydney Sweeney has confirmed that she is loving being single.
Yes!
We got out of Jim Ogoshevsky outside of the Pentagon Gym. What are you hearing about Sydney Sweeney's love of being single? Oh, it's legit, Tom. Thank you.
She loves being single after ending her 6-year relationship with Jonathan Davino. She was speaking to the Sunday Times, and she said, I'm learning a lot about myself, spending more time with my friends.
I wonder if when you reach that level of, whether it be, the guys that she's been with, or when you're at that level of attractive, do you occasionally look down and go, yeah, look at me, look in the mirror?
I don't know.
Yeah, do you just savor it? I've never had
Steve,
that.
I could never give you an accurate answer to that question.
I run past the mirror.
Yeah. Oh, my. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Just look at me. Just look at me.
You hold your hand up to the side of your face.
I am a human being.
All right, so this has been breaking news. I just saw you. I saw that headline. I'm like, are you serious? Are you kidding me?
Well, the funny thing was it took so long to confirm that she was not going to marry this guy that she had been with for a long time.
Right. All right, well, I have two. I have two things about the show King of the Hill. One of them is incredibly tragic. An actor named Jonathan Joss, who was best known for voicing John Redcorn
I love
on
that
King of the Hill.
character. Yeah.
He was shot and killed this weekend in San Antonio.
Saw that, yeah.
59 years old. Police found him near a roadway and attempted life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. A suspect, his neighbor, Sigfredo Alvarez Queja, has been arrested and charged with murder. There's an investigation, obviously, that's ongoing. He had a decades-long career appearing in shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Ray Donovan, Friday Night Lights. The creators, Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, and Selden Patterson of King of the Hill, said his voice will be missed at King of the Hill, and we extend our deepest condolences to his friends and family. So I don't know anything outside of why the incident happened or why this guy murdered him.
He was a recurring character on Parks and Rec as well. He played this Native American chief, and his intent always was to intimidate white people by evoking like imagery of what Native Americans were. So he's like, I'm pretty sure there'd be a curse on this land. I know one thing about white people is that they love Rachel Ray and are afraid of curses.
Wow. Yeah, but that's we'll have to find out what they find out in the investigation and pass that along to you. A couple other quick things about King of the Hill. There's a revival that's happening, and now we know when it's happening. It'll drop on Hulu on August 4th. And the show ran from 97 to 2010. It's expected to be a continuation of the show. They'll acknowledge all the time this passed as Bobby, who was a middle schooler during the original show, is now all grown up.
Oh, so they're not going to do that stuck in time sort of thing.
They're actually going to move it forward. So
I enjoyed the show. I thought it was funny. There was some conceits that they had, like his adoration for Chuck Mangione and all that stuff.
It is a funny show.
Yeah.
So the notes for the show say, after years of working propane job in Saudi Arabia to earn the retirement nest egg, Hank and Peggy return to a changed Arlen, Texas to reconnect with old friends. So we'll see how that pans out. And then I know we're already running way late here, but I wanted to add a couple more quick things.
You have to. That's the reporter in you.
Yeah, it's me.
You get some leads, and you have to make sure people know.
All right, so Mark Hamill has confirmed he has no plans to return to Luke Skywalker in future Star Wars projects, not even as a Force ghost. He said, I have my time. I'm appreciative of that, but I really think they should focus on the future and all the new characters. His comments come as Lucasfilm is working on a film centered on Daisy Ridley's Rey, set after The Rise of Skywalker, and that film will follow Rey's efforts to rebuild the Jedi Order based on Luke's teachings. So some fans had assumed that Luke could pop up in some form, whether that be as a Force ghost or as a flashback.
He was kind of pissed off about the way Luke Skywalker ended up being in the most recent trilogy. He thought, there was a trade-in on some of the heroic aspects of the character.
Okay.
And so he definitely had his issues, which he made known in public. I don't know if that's going to affect things proceeding from here on in. But yeah,
Dude,
he's not a fan.
When they did show him, when he first showed his face at the end of the one movie, was it The Force Awakens or whatever it was?
Right.
Or the one before that, and you saw it was him, it was like, whoa, oh my God.
Yeah.
He is not going to be in it in any way, shape, or form, according to him. And then the last thing that I was going to mention, the Crawley estate has weathered all of history's greatest and most tragic events over the last 15 years, spanning 6 seasons, 52 episodes, and 2 big screen dramas. But now it's almost curtain time with Downton Abbey, the grand finale, arriving this summer. The teaser promises new beginnings from the family in the 1930s and even showed a sweet moment of Lord Robert touching Downton's walls.
Lord.
We're doing a crossover with Bachelor in Paradise.
Signaling the end of an era. Downton Abbey, the grand finale, enters theaters on September 12th, but that'll be it for them.
That show died a number of times and came back.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. It's pretty evergreen.
I started watching that show with my ex-wife, so that's how long it's been. It was like 2010.
Damn.
She was into it. It was a great show, but Steve, you're right. Like, it started and stopped so many times. You're just like, is this a movie now? Is this a TV show? I don't know. It was well done, but
is this a TikTok video?
Yeah.
All right, do we have clips?
We did, and I handed it to you earlier than I normally do. Here, you know what? You want me to go?
No, go ahead. Hit the drum
Oh, it's right there. Oh, my God, I see it.
hit the drum roll. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune is a new spin on the iconic game.
I get it, because you spin the wheel in the game.
With the original host, and here Pat Sajak talks about what makes the show great.
I think people actually like watching the celebrities suffer a little bit, and big stars and all this. Like, he can't figure that puzzle out either, just like me. But they all try really hard. I mean, they take the game seriously, which, when we first talked about doing Celebrity, I wondered about that they're coming on to plug something and the game would be an afterthought. But like everybody else, they watch the show, they know the show, and they take it seriously, and we appreciate that.
Yeah! Anybody else have a spin ID for Wheel of Fortune?
No,
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
So every night during one of the segments, they will reveal 2 letters and then a bunch of numbers. And that is your spin ID.
We do have it.
Okay, you do?
Yeah.
So I have it, and they send you an email every day letting you know whether or not you've won. Thus far, I've not won.
Okay.
No, neither have we. In fact, we forgot we had it.
Yeah. But I have my spin ID, and it's nice of Wheel of Fortune people to send me the email every day to let me know that I've lost.
And let me know when you win.
I will.
All right, here's our next clip. The new adventure competition show Destination X sends contestants on the road of a road trip of a lifetime with no idea of their location.
Wow.
And I know, I love this. Jeffrey Dean Morgan talks about how he was convinced to do the show.
Being the host of the show, I think, is something very new for me. It's about challenging myself and doing something different and new. And I think NBC sold me on the idea of me being me, which is I'm a little bit of a loose cannon occasionally.
He should host the show as Negan.
Yes, totally. New episode of Destination X airs tonight on NBC, and the loser gets their head bashed in with a barbed wire laden
They all
baseball
kneel
bat.
down at the end.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Wow,
this
him as a
show?
game show host, that's wild. And I don't know, but Casey, I love that concept. I would be all in on you don't know where you're going.
Right.
I love that type of thing. In fact, Rochelle and I still want to do one of these mystery trips, which are easy to sign up for.
And
You send them information about what your hobbies are, what the types of things you like, cold weather, warm weather, blah, blah, blah. And you don't know until the day you're leaving where you're going and what you're doing. And they give you an itinerary and everything. I love that idea.
Going to Harleysville, Pennsylvania. I live there.
The travel will be easy. I don't know. Destination X. So it almost looks like, MTV Road Rules.
Yeah,
and they
same
send you on
thing.
these adventures, only it looks like they're going high end. Like big time high end on yachts and stuff like that.
I would love to see that. He breaks out the bat, though, with the barbed wire.
Yeah, come
caves
on.
in a skull at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have some excitement. All right, that is our entertainment report. We need to take a break. We're going to come back in just a moment. It's warm today. It's sunny today. Oh, and Gwynedd Mercy Academy. You guys are the latest in the coolest teacher of the year contest. So text the word teacher to 610-660-9333. We'll send you the voting link, and we'll find out by tomorrow morning who is deemed coolest. Congratulations again to Amanda Gimber of Perkiomen Valley. She won today. We'll be back in a minute. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
Might be expelled.
Yeah.
I'd probably be expelled.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But I told you there was another. So this is. I don't have any history on this knife, other than it was clearly sharpened quite a bit because it's got a section in the middle that's curved.
Yes.
Unless it was made that way, I don't really know. But it certainly seems well used. And this was definitely for a rifle because you can see where it would slide onto the barrel right here. And there's a button that you would push that would lock it. You can unlock it, and it's got a wooden handle with these kind of cross stitches in it. And there is a mark on it, but I've never researched it.
Do we know which army it was used for?
I don't know anything about this other than I saw a big freaking knife and I wanted to buy it.
So my dad...
And this is when you could, as a kid, you could walk into a store and buy a big-ass knife like this. I was in like third grade and I bought it.
We had a German, I believe it was actually a Hitler Youth knife that somebody given my dad while he was actively fighting the war, and brought it back.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Preston, that stuff was around the house. And as I said earlier, I brought a Civil War sword into show and tell. But remember, we had a bayonet as well. I was fascinated with the concept of the bayonet. So it'd be cool to kind of find out the history of that.
Yeah, it does have a mark on it. And I guess I could, it looks like a letter N or an M. I can't quite tell, with a crown over it.
That means Nermany. So it was an enemy weapon.
Do you remember the year you bought it?
Let's see. Third grade. It would have been 1978. Somewhere around then.
How cool were stores like that to go into surplus? And Preston,
77.
They would sell dummy grenades.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They would sell.
Well, I told you another item I brought for show and tell, and I've told this before. It was a Vietnam War era incendiary bomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was literally a bomb casing.
Yeah.
It was about 2.5 feet long. It was orange. Had a fin on it. Had the front. Had an arming pin and everything on it. And I had looked it up. It was incendiary, so it was for creating fires, is what it would do. It wouldn't explode, but it would just spread fire all over the place. And it would be for torching villages, I don't know, whatever, burning babies, what they do. I don't know. But
bad babies, like German babies.
German babies.
Well,
the worst.
The Viet Cong, who were fighting at the time.
Yeah.
But I brought that in. You could bring that in without any concern. And listen, I think it's insane that we were able to do that stuff back then.
Yes.
And there's reasons why you can't do it now. But I found that stuff fascinating. Me and my friend Bubba at the time was his name.
Yeah.
We were way into Steve, like playing war.
Oh my God, that's
all
what
the
we did
time.
all the time, and with the full size GI Joes, and when you could get your hands on equipment like this, Preston. When I brought the full Civil War sword into, it was a cavalry sword too. I think it was a cavalry officer brought that into school. I was proud because I had a story attached to it. We just used that sword. My pool above ground pool was frozen, and I ran the sword about 50 times into the frozen pool liner.
Oh man,
my dad loved that.
So it was a Civil War era sword.
Yep.
What did you guys ever do? Those things are worth a ridiculous amount of money.
I guarantee you, it walked. My dad, when mother passed away and we moved. My dad held the most crazy garage sale.
Wow.
Like things I had just bought ended up in the garage sale. I'm like,
He sold
where is?
everything.
I sold it. It's like, Dad, this is where you can't run a garage sale.
Yeah. So I don't have much to tell other than that I took it to show and tell as a kid, and that's just insane.
It's a beauty.
This thing was allowed in there.
So would you want to find the history on it? Like, would you want to figure out?
I've had it for a long, long time.
You know, it's not something you probably take to Antiques Roadshow. There's probably not a lot of inherent value to it, but I bet there's a story behind it. And like, so you could talk to a military expert or some weapons expert, and I bet they could track down like the rifle that it was used for, the era that it was used, that kind of thing.
Yeah, probably. It's pretty beat up, but yeah.
Still. I mean, I can't believe, that they sold it to you. You didn't have a parent with you? I can't remember if you said that.
I don't remember.
No, you could walk in, honestly, Case. There's a surplus store in Northport, Long Island.
Yeah.
You could walk in, I remember, and walk out.
I'd buy cigarettes for my mom.
I know.
Age, I mean.
But if I came home with a knife like that, A, if they sold it to me, and then B, if I came home with it, my parents would be like, no.
Casey, I had a machete as well.
I couldn't even have nunchucks. I wasn't even allowed to have nunchucks.
We lived in a place, this is when I lived in South Carolina when I had this, and there were woods all over the place around us, so I needed a machete.
Yeah.
I had to get around in the woods, so it was crazy. I had a motorcycle, I had a shotgun, it was ridiculous.
I remember buying flying stars. From all sorts of crazy weapons.
Yeah.
Yes.
So somebody messaged on the YouTube stream that you should never clean that blade. It's worth more with the patina on it.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never heard that before.
Maybe just
That's the new thing in collecting, and I was telling Preston about this. And with automobiles,
Yeah.
Nick, you don't restore them.
No kidding.
You let them if you can find them and let them be their original. With a little bit of rust, a dent, all that makes it worth more these days.
Casey, do you see that? There's like small bits of dirt and mud
Yeah.
on there. That was from me as a kid, jamming it into the ground
That
or
is
whatever.
It's Hitler's blood on the edge.
Maybe that's what that is.
That's what it is.
All right, so that's what I have for show and tell. Thank you, Kathy. Do you approve?
I mean, I'm not into weapons.
Okay, all right.
But it's okay. It's good enough.
All right, let's get another show and tell.
Hey, wait a second. Can I send Kathy down to the cafeteria to get the pints of milk for snack? The class would like to hear from Casey.
But Nick has 3 different things. So if
I know.
you wanted to, you could do like Nick and then me and then back to
Why
Nick.
don't you
again.
let him
Who's
be
the
the
teacher?
teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Who went to school for
fine.
teaching?
Okay, well, then
Me
you
too.
guys got to hang on a second.
All right.
So I got to get ready here.
Oh, all right. I didn't realize he's actually preparing something. He's got goggles on.
Yeah, I got
He's got an arc welder.
Oh.
He's
All
pulling
right.
something out. I can't
All
tell if
right.
he's reaching into his briefcase or backpack or
Kid has a briefcase.
lunchbox or.
Okay. Hang on a second.
What do you might?
Do we
All
need
right.
to skip you?
No. We're good to go. All right. Turn
All
that
right.
music off there.
Okay. Oh,
Lights,
wait.
please.
Oh, lights are
Wait, we're
coming
bringing
down.
the lights down?
What's
Do it.
happening?
Wait,
Turn the
turn
lights
that
down.
light
Turn the lights off.
Oh, my God.
This is
All
exciting.
right, here we
Wow.
go,
What's
baby.
this all about?
All right, here we go, baby.
Oh, it's got music.
He's dancing.
Oh, look at his shoes.
Oh wait, I can't see.
He's got light up shoes.
Oh,
Those are great. What do they call those?
light up shoes. Oh my God, they're silver and they have like LED lights around the soles of both shoes.
And those aren't like, what were the ones that you got when you were a kid that had just like the back of them would light up?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
these
you
are
would
much
step-
better.
No, these are like on all the time. There's probably an on-off button right on the inside of the shoe.
And they change colors and they go all the way around the sole of the shoe, like
Yeah,
all
baby.
the way around. Casey, I love those.
I love it too.
You have to wear those a lot more often.
I know,
Like
I
the
know.
Sixers games and stuff.
So when did you get those?
Last week.
That's still show and tell. That's right.
Get
What?
for
What?
show and tell?
What war is that from?
This is the Civil War. This is the end of the Civil War. This is what caused the end of the Civil War.
It was too easy to shoot people in the
Yep.
dark.
Casey, sit back on your chair, kick
Okay.
your feet up so we can see those. If you can. Look at that. Wow.
And do
Dude,
you like
I love those.
do you hit the button and they'll change colors or they'll
Yeah.
flash
Yeah,
or
he was just cycling through the different things he can do. How, if I may ask, Case, how much for something like that?
$37.99.
That's
Shut
nothing.
up.
We have. I sent Marissa
Straight from China.
The link. Yes. I mean on the box.
Yeah.
Made in China.
Made in
It's
China.
China, Texas,
I know.
though.
Thank you,
Next
China.
week, they'll be dead.
they'll be dead, yeah.
But this is worth $37 for yeah.
Totally.
So, thank you, Instagram. You know me so well. Instagram showed me these things, and I was like, okay, let me go to, because the ones that caught my eye were American flag ones,
Oh, I like those for your birthdays, the 4th of July.
but they didn't have them in my size.
So how about the Chinese flag?
No, I didn't. They didn't have a Chinese flag either. But so when I went to the site, they had these ones, the obviously like super shiny silver, but they had like goldish ones, but I was like, well, I got to get the silver ones because silver goes with more.
Well,
than
let me
gold.
tell you something. These are excellent. Those are excellent. Preston, that's...
I love them.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I get a pair?
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
all
why I'm
right.
showing
You
it to
guys
So-
can walk around at night along the boardwalk?
Yeah.
Yes. And then so I sent Marissa the link. She can share that if you want.
What kind of battery does it take?
Oh, so it charges. So here's
Okay.
You have to run really fast.
Yeah, you gotta run really, really fast. Runs
They're
on kinetic
exercise
energy.
shoes.
No, so it runs like
All right.
this. It's got a
And when
battery
you
on the inside.
You run that right to your pacemaker?
Run right to the pacemaker, and you're good to go.
Oh, that's
Do you,
excellent.
Casey, do you mind if I ask how much they cost?
$35. he
Oh, you
said.
said- okay.
$37.99.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, $38. That's awesome.
Yeah.
One other question.
Yeah.
Can you strut around the room one more time?
Hell yeah! I got.
With the music.
Is our camera picking these up? I hope so, man. Because that is the best, dude.
They're
Casey.
awesome. They're really awesome.
Thank you. Dude, we should all have show light up shoes.
I agree.
I will get them.
agree.
I'll
I
gladly
like it.
get them.
And then, Kathy, you could teach us a little short dance routine.
Oh, man.
All right, here's the deal, though.
Whatever our next live event is, we have to do
We
that.
have to order the shoes at the same time so they all fail at the same time.
So they all work at least for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, because within a week, they'll be dead.
Garbage.
By the way, this is my second pair of light up shoes.
Well, you know what? I think because Jace has a pair. He wore them like twice, and then he was like,
Like the regular Blinkies?
No. He has what Casey has, and I feel like you told me, you sent me the link, and that's why I ordered them.
Okay, wait. of these, like this style,
not like not
Well, 'cause
metallic like that.
The
but
other
yeah.
ones that I have they're a cloth white shoe, and the whole shoe lights up with these LED lights.
Okay.
And they're really, really cool.
How much are those?
Probably the same. Those might have been like 50. But even
Do you remember the gloves you could get where the fingertips would all light up? That's what that sounds like.
So, I mean,
The
listen,
other ones.
the whole battery and LED technology is just taking fashion to a whole new level.
Absolutely.
Our fashionista.
The high fashion.
All right, I brought something very old. Casey brought something brand new.
And Nick has a troika.
And we are playing show and tell.
All right, Nick. Show the class what you have.
Or the lights going off.
Can you dance?
Or has been used in a pitch battle during a war.
Very little dancing, but I do have three things. Two of them are related and from my childhood. The third is something that I've referenced on the show many times, and so I'll start with that.
How is it?
It's my 1984 Topps traded.
Oh my God!
Doc Gooden autographed rookie baseball card. And
was this the Hampton Inn?
This was the George Washington Motor Lodge right off of 202. There's a Home Depot there now. Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry were there signing autographs. It was $8 a pop to get their autographs.
And how much is it worth now?
At least $4. I don't know. I bet you if I could find a Mets fan who was willing to buy it, I could probably sell it. But at the time,
3-3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. Just a last-minute warning. The big friggin' deal with Maurice Piers is about to run out. They are out of the thousands of tickets that were available for this. They are almost sold out, and you end up saving a lot. So Chuck was just telling us about this yesterday. You get
They're really moving.
Same-day ride and water park combo tickets to Maurice Piers for $70. It's a $50 savings per ticket. It's unlimited rides on 3 piers, both water parks, the whole day. And if you buy a family 4-pack, you end up saving $200. And chances are you're going to not just buy one ticket.
No,
you're going to buy a few of them. So if you may as well save big time on this, but they're going to run out very, very soon. So go to WMMR.com/deals and take advantage of it before it's gone.
I couldn't believe how many we've burned through so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really selling.
Casey and I are actually going there this Friday.
Yeah.
We're going to be shooting a commercial. The past several years, at the beginning of the summer, we shoot a commercial for Maury's because he and I, we have houses down in Wildwood Crest. So that's our spot, going to Maury's. So we're kind of pseudo spokespeople for the chain, and we love going there. We always have a blast, and wait till you see what we have in store for this year.
So who is your camera? Who's your video person?
Nick Murphy.
There you go.
Our good friend. He's done all of them. So,
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, because actually we had Kyle do one or two as
right.
well.
Yeah,
but it should be fun, and but take advantage of that deal before it is gone. So yesterday was chatting with Casey as we were doing a conference call last evening to get ready for the show today, and when we join, we're like, hey, what's everybody doing? Casey's like, oh, I'm at an AutoZone. What are you doing over there? Well, I'm getting a battery. I'm going to try changing a battery in my car. I thought you were just going to buy the battery and take it somewhere and have them put it in for you or something like that. But Joe, no, you were going to put it in.
Is this in your Jeep?
No, it was in the Outback.
Okay, so you're going to replace the battery?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I sort of attempted to do that a couple of months ago. I got a call from my son early on a Saturday morning. He was staying in Philadelphia by the Art Museum. He's like, I think there's something wrong with the car. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and I jump start the car. As it turns out, he left the light on in the
dome light,
dome light overnight. And so he was going to leave yesterday to take his tuxedo back after graduation, and it just sucked because it was the worst timing ever. Because my daughter had a audition. She was auditioning for Summer Stage last night, and so she needed to be somewhere. He took the tuxedo back. and my son goes to get into the car, and the battery's dead.
By the way,
dead.
to jump in for a moment, I didn't think the dome light thing still did that.
Neither did I on a new car.
They use LED lights.
Yeah.
Much less power needed to run those things. And I also thought over time they will automatically turn off on some cars. Because I remember that being a regular thing you had to be aware of when you would leave your car back in the day, back in 80s, 90s, or whatever. If you left your dome light on,
let me jump in.
Dead battery the next day
because the battery is 5 years old at this point as well. So,
still though, that's not.
Yeah, I'm
so here are two things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the battery was completely shot.
So a couple of months ago, no, I jump started it. It was fine. I went to like a Pep Boys AutoZone. I said, "Do you think I need a new battery?" They're like, "No, you're probably okay." So we left it.
Who'd you talk to, Manny, Mo, or Jack?
It was all three of them were there. I was like, "Oh my god,
all of you!
You guys were all here at the same time." So this time, I knew that and so I tried to jump start the car yesterday, and
nothing.
It just didn't. It wouldn't start. So I was like, "Okay, so the battery's done." Here's the one thing I like about myself, because there's so much that I dislike about who and what I am.
All right.
But what I do like about myself is that I am willing a lot of times to go outside of my comfort zone and try new things.
You 100% are, and I admire that in you as well.
And so
now's the time to make things worse.
After I called my brother-in-law, who owns Hometown Auto and is a mechanic in Conshohocken, once he didn't answer, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to have to do this myself. Right. So I went to an AutoZone around the corner from my house, and I was like, all right. I just YouTubed it. I told you, Preston, I'm like, I watched a 2-minute YouTube video. I'm like, I can do this.
So
I can totally do this.
When he said he was doing it, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I was like, I tried that once before, and I messed it up.
Listen.
And if I recall correctly, and I'm not 100% sure, Casey, but I thought that when I removed the battery without taking some preemptive steps or something like that, like, you know how these things have all the onboard computers and all that stuff now, that it had disconnected from that and it futzed something up. And not only that, the housing thing alone that holds the battery in place, like I couldn't even figure that damn thing out.
So you raised good points.
Yeah.
Very good points. Years ago, I could swap out a battery, no problem. Easy, pop it on out.
Yep.
Now what they do is they secure it in there with these things, and there's a lip, and there's this thing, and it's like a game. It's like, like one of those puzzle boxes to get it out of the goddamn car.
You take off all the pieces, and it looks like you got it all off, and you start to pulling it up, and you're
it's
like,
not
this
going.
won't come out of
What's
here.
happening?
I ran into a little bit of that.
Okay, all right.
I did all that.
Okay.
Everything that you're talking about right now tracks 100%. Preston, I didn't even think about the computers in the car and me messing that stuff up. That wasn't even a thought until you said something to me about that last night. I'm like, oh no. Whoa,
Like factory and reset and stuff like that.
You would assume that that in this case, I would assume on a tech level that simply removing the battery and putting a new battery back in, that there would be some sort of a safety for your settings. Some might change if you swap out the battery supply, but for the most part, you'd get back a running car.
Yeah.
To me, just the way the batteries sit now in modern cars is a pain in the ass.
Hey, before you tell your story, can we hear from Ryan here about what happened to him? This sounds worse.
Yeah, this was a concern of mine.
Okay.
And so this is fine.
Should I go to him?
Go to him.
Okay, all right.
Because this will totally sync up with the story.
All right, I'm going to go to Ryan. Hey, Ryan, you're on the air, buddy.
What's up, bitch?
Yo, bitch, tell your story.
So kind of similar. I thought it would be fairly easy to change the battery in my car. And I, plugged the positive to the negative and the negative to the negative.
Oh, no.
No, I did it backwards.
Yeah.
And I plugged the negative to the positive. It ended up completely rupturing the computer system in my car. It's 2019, so it's not that old. But and then so I had to take it to the dealership. I guess what they do now, manufacturers, is that you have to take it to the dealership so that they can resync the battery to the car, to the computer system.
Okay.
Ended up costing $6,000 in damage.
Oh!
So are you saying you basically blew out your computer system?
It blew the fuse, like a major fuse in my car, and it also blew up the AC compressor, which turns on the AC. So I have no AC in my car right now.
Oh man! And so
the
you
alternator.
You paid $6,000 and you still don't have AC?
I did not get the AC fixed, so it ended up costing me $2,000. I still have to get the AC fixed.
Wow.
So it's $4,000 to get the AC fixed. I don't have that right now, so I'm gonna live with Windows.
Yeah, roll the window down.
That's
go old school.
I spent years. That was my AC system, man. Therein lies a
Thanks,
warning
Ryan.
to people tinkering with cars.
Yeah. Hey, I have a quick question because this was a concern of mine yesterday as I was, swapping things out. If you get shocked by a car battery, can you do major damage to yourself, or is it mainly just like a? Well, it's just you get zapped.
The fear used to be is if you're screwing around and you hook things up the wrong way, the battery could explode.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get electrocuted to death by a car battery.
When you touch those, if you're jumping a car and you touch the two connectors together and it sparks.
Yes.
That looks like that would hurt a lot.
Okay.
I don't think it'll kill you.
Okay, so you hurt a lot.
I mean, it depends on what your heart condition is, I would imagine, too.
I think you would be imbued with the powers of a spider.
Obviously, I don't want to get hurt a lot, but that's not my concern. My concern is actually dying. So, I mean, literally, at one point, I said that because Seamus was in the driveway. I'm like, yo, dude. I'm like, just kind of watch because
I love you.
I'm about to go do something.
I love you.
I love you.
No, but I was like, if I'm going to get shocked, I don't want to be like, he's like, Dad, don't do that. I was like, no, I'm just saying. I'm like, I'm about to do something. If I get shocked, I might need you to save my life.
These are all the things, Preston, when you first get a car and you're learning all the stuff, like when you have an you're adding radiator fluid and you have to wait until everything cools down.
Yeah.
Don't open that cap.
Yeah, it'll blow up all over you. Yeah. All right. So let's hear your story.
So there's not really much of a story.
Okay.
I will tell you, I got the battery. Oh, okay, no, there is a little bit of a story. I'm at AutoZone, and the one thing my brother-in-law told me is like, don't chintz on the battery. He goes, spend the money on the battery.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, there are some really cheap, terrible batteries out there. So I'm like, okay. So I'm at the AutoZone. The guy is giving me my options of batteries. I end up getting the best battery, and then he brings it out. And I'm looking at it, and the battery has these two prongs at the top. Obviously, there's a positive, and then there's a negative.
Right.
And he points out to me, he's like, all right, that's your positive, that's your negative. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, hang on. I'm like, how come it doesn't? This battery, the brand new battery, doesn't have these things on it that the old battery has. And he's like, oh, well, you have to take those off of the old battery. I was like, well, I didn't even realize that. And he's like, I have tools. So I was like, oh, okay. So I have to take this little attachment off of the top, the positive prong, and then another attachment that was on top of the negative prong, and then I had to put them on top of the new battery. Okay. I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not using the proper lingo. But
I didn't think this was overly technical.
I don't even know how to describe, but I didn't know that these things that were on top of the old battery came off on and off. I thought they were permanently attached.
At this point, are you reconsidering your attempt?
At this point, I am. Because I didn't know that these came off of the old battery and onto the new battery. I thought when I took the battery out of the car, it was good and we were good to go. So anyway, I had to take these things off that ultimately attach the battery to the car. All right. So I'm putting these on, and then I go home and I install the battery into the car. Okay. I put the positive. So when you're taking the car battery out, the YouTube video I said is you detach negative first, then positive. When you put the battery in, you attach positive first, then negative.
Hey, okay. I have a follow-up question real quick before we proceed. When we were on the call, I said, did you watch a video specifically for a Subaru Outback replacement?
No, I just watched a Home Depot video.
Okay. I would have thought maybe you would have gone and followed up and found a video specifically that model. Okay.
Because I guarantee you there is one on how to replace a battery for your specific model car.
I will tell you that the video that I watched, it was fine. It was everything that I needed to watch.
Do you have the Subaru roadside assistance?
Possibly.
I do.
Yeah.
And I think you get it because you and I both bought our cars from Rafferty.
Yeah.
And I would have called them at this point.
Yeah, 'cause it's all about you at Rafferty.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I mean, yeah.
It's Casey. No, it's not about you.
All right. Listen, I get the battery out. I put the new battery in. I attach the positive to the positive, the negative to the negative. There's no sparks, no
That's
nothing.
what you call
I'm
ball in the jack.
I'm like, we are good to go, right? And I'm like, all right, guys, moment of truth. I sit in the driver's seat. I press the foot on the brake. I'm like, oh, it's got no give.
Doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right. Okay. And I hit the little button. Nothing. Not a
Right.
Nothing. I was like, okay. All right. I have a portable unit that I can jump start a car with.
Yeah.
I got this when my son's battery died a couple of months ago. So all right, let me go grab that thing. I put that, and I'm like, all right, maybe I need to jump start the car to kick this battery off.
Brand new battery.
Brand new battery.
Needs
a little help.
Just needs a little bit of a kickstart.
I need to get a jump on my brand new battery.
My brand new battery. Okay, they never told me this. And
you gotta turn the crank in the front.
So, but I will say, so I go and I go to jump start the car. At least I'm getting something, right? A little. And then lights are kind of on in the car. I'm like, okay, so there's a little bit of juice
power here.
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing. I'm like, so I take the battery out, and like I must have taken this battery in and out of the car 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, let me text my brother-in-law. All right, I texted my brother-in-law. And I'm also racing against the clock because I wanted to go see my nephew and my best friend's son play in a lacrosse game. And so I call he doesn't answer. I send him a text, nothing. And I'm like, oh, my brother-in-law's at the lacrosse game. This is my nephew is his son. I'm going to go to the lacrosse game, right? So I go to the Marple O'Hara lacrosse game. By the way, Marple won 19-1. And I sit next to my sister. My brother-in-law's not there. I'm like, God.
How do you get there if your car's not running?
Well, I took my wife's car.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I go. My sister's there. My brother-in-law's not there. And so I tell her, I'm like, yeah, the whole battery thing. So she texts him. She goes, Casey's here. He needs help with the battery. So Dave calls me, and I'm on the phone with him, and I'm telling him everything. And then he's like, do you have the positive on the positive and negative? I was like, here. I go, well, here's the thing. Like the guy from AutoZone told me that this was positive and that was negative. I didn't actually visually look to see if I was putting the positive on the positive and the negative on the negative. I just, the guy from AutoZone he goes, dude, if you put the negative on the positive and positive, he's like, you like that guy just called.
Yeah. Fry things.
He's like, you need to leave right now. And so the listeners don't know about my brother-in-law. He is a jokester. I can't tell if he's effing with me or not, right? So I'm like, Dave, are you serious? Are you being Dave right now? Right. He's like, no. He's like, I'm being serious. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. So I race home, totally expecting my car to be in flames in the driveway. I get there, car's not in flames, thank God. And I go to take the battery out and just to check to see if the positive are on the positive, negatives on the negs. Marissa, do you have that picture? Okay. A lot like what happened with the ceiling fan at home where the battery and the remote control had a little plastic thing on it. When I took the battery out, the negative prong had this
sleeve on it,
a plastic cap.
You put it over the cap,
and I put this little attachment over the cap.
Okay,
I don't want to interrupt you here, Casey.
Yes,
and I could see myself easily making the same mistake as you. Half of the texts that are coming in saying he left the cap on, didn't he? People saw this coming
a mile away,
and because I guess it's pretty easy and common mistake.
But the guy from AutoZone saw me putting this thing on top of
the guy assumed you'd take the caps off.
He was right there.
Yeah.
He saw me not take the cap off.
Here's a text says, don't always trust the guys at AutoZone, by the way. I was a manager at AutoZone for 20 years, and one of my employees installed a battery backwards and fried the entire car, cost the company $5,000. So that's just a text that I saw coming in.
I had left this cap on the entire time. Now, the car started. Okay, I got everything fixed. But here's the other funny thing is the little sleeve that the battery goes in, I forgot to put that back over the battery, so that's
gone somewhere.
That's in my garage and not in my car. That's not the end of the world. You don't always need to have it in that little sleevey thing. But the other thing is the last nut that I was putting on the battery is now somewhere in the engine. I have no idea. I dropped it because I was so nervous because when I put that little thingy over the thingy, it kept sparking. So I was like, am I going to get shocked? Am I going to get... So I was being like delicate and ginger. And by being so delicate and ginger, I dropped the nut into the engine. Yeah. And now it's still there. And then I had to go try and find another nut somewhere. Thankfully, I had one that fit the little thread.
This is the story like when in My Cousin Vinny, when he's talking about accidentally dropping the thing, goes down in the manifold. You're effed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just it. That's a general. I would recommend against doing any work on your car like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, now I know how to do it. So I'm a car battery expert, guys.
Yeah. How much money do you think you saved by doing it yourself?
Probably nothing.
Okay. Just curious.
No, it wasn't about saving money. It was about I need to get this done now because people need cars.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if it was about saving money or not. Okay. So we got tons of texts coming in. We got lots of calls coming in. Nick, there was one a moment ago about a guy who had said, he was says 10 plus years Chrysler mechanic. Nowadays, you're correct about disconnecting a battery can reset certain modules in the car. For instance, one of our cars, if you disconnect the battery and reconnect it, you have to relearn the electric power steering.
Jesus.
If not, you have a bunch of lights on, the car dinging at you over the years just to change a battery is ridiculous. And then he also said plenty of times accidentally would be turning a wrench or ratchet and the other end accidentally hits the other battery post. And poof, sparks and smoke. But I let go immediately. If you stand there holding the connection, yes, ouch, is what he said. So hang on a second. I'm going to go to bunch calls. I have Paul. Hi, Paul. You're on the air. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Devon, you guys at work. How are you?
All good, my man. So you wanted to comment on getting shocked from a battery?
Yeah. So 12-volt battery, you'll feel it. It's not going to kill you. There's some circumstances where it can be more than others, but generally it's not. Your body has enough resistance on the surface. It's not going to be fatal.
Okay.
All right. So
if you have like wet, sweaty, oily hands, it can maybe make it a little bit more severe for you, but it's not fatal.
Not fatal.
So all the stuff you see like in Rambo when he's tortured. Like with the car battery on the mattress, like that's kind of Hollywood BS.
Okay, all right. That's what I was curious. I thought about Lethal Weapon immediately.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. All right.
Now,
Do you have a question for Paul?
Yeah, Paul, because when I was trying to put I attached the positive to the positive, and then as I was going to attach the negative to the negative, it was sparking, and that's what freaked me out, and that's why I ended up dropping that nut into the engine.
Okay.
Will I get shocked from that?
Slightly. And that's also what goes along why they tell you to take the negative off first and put the negative on last. Because the negative terminal of the battery is actually, that cable connects to the chassis of the vehicle. So the ground. Whole body and chassis becomes the ground.
Yeah.
So if by chance you touch the positive terminal to the negative terminal or the fender, anything metal, while that negative's connected, that will make a short. Also, that's why they have wrenches that are designed for batteries that are not metal.
Right.
They're made of either a plastic or some other insulated material.
That makes sense.
They don't have that inadvertent contact, which could cause that spark.
Yeah, years ago when you were jumping a battery, they would tell you to take one of the clamps and clamp it to the chassis of the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was the negative one.
The negative, right.
Yep. Hang on. We have a bunch of mechanics going on. Let's go to Dante. Yo, Dante. Morning, man.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning to see you. What's up, bud?
Yeah, like the guy that was just calling, it's not necessarily the sparks that'll get you a little zap. It's more what they call amperage.
Yep.
Is what will get into you, and that's what could kill you. But those sparks that you see when you touch the negative terminal, you won't get hurt by that.
Okay. Have you had it happen to you before?
Oh yeah, every time I change a battery.
Oh, that's awesome.
Positive terminal on. Yeah, you put the positive terminal on first. Then once you go to put the negative terminal on the battery, there's just a little sparks that happen. But yeah, that is very normal for that to happen.
Okay.
Thanks, bud. I'm still reeling from the fact that Rambo and Lethal Weapon lied to us.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that, Preston, that was an absolutely appropriate torture method.
Yeah.
You get a car battery, some clamps, hook it up to the nipples.
Yep.
And you're all good.
Yeah. No, I remember that from Lethal Weapon. Endo was the guy who
That's right.
distributed that to him.
Called your brother-in-law.
Let me see here. I have other mechanics. We're going to go to Noah next. Hi, Noah. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up, man? You wanted to offer up a little advice for Casey here or some general knowledge?
Yeah. So I'm a technician at Acura.
Mm-hmm.
And so for our newer vehicles, actually, if you put a battery that isn't a factory one in, you could potentially set lights on in the car.
So the car will register the battery as not being an appropriate battery, and you'll keep getting notifications.
Exactly. So whenever anybody asks me about their car and it's battery related, I usually recommend for them to get a factory battery installed.
So it's funny. So for example, like I have a camera, and if I don't use Sony batteries, an alert will pop up in the window of on the screen that I'm not using a Sony battery. So is this just a way to make sure the business is coming their way? Would there be a suitable battery that would replace it and work fine, or is just a deal you're going to have to put up with these notifications?
Other batteries would work fine. I think it's more or less the manufacturers wanting the customer not necessarily to work on their own car that may still be under a warranty.
Why, it works so well for Casey.
Hey, Noah, what are those things called that go on top of the prongs that ultimately connect?
It's just like an eyelet. It's like a battery cable. But depending on, like for our cars, we actually have a battery sensor on the negative side of the cable. So there's connectors and stuff that go to it, and then you have to reset the audio system, which is simply you hold the power button for it. But again, it depends on the manufacturer. All of them are different.
So, Noah, that's my question. You're driving any car within the past couple of years, 10 maybe, I'll say. You're driving a computer is what you're driving. And you have all of these things. You have all of these sensitive systems that are, relaying to each other. Anytime you start dabbling with anything electric on the car, it's not going to go well. Am I correct in saying that? The casual mechanic should not F around with a car that is fairly recent?
No, not at all. There's all the systems. So let's just give an example quickly. 2010 Acura MDX has maybe 6 or 7 computers in the system or in the car. A brand new 2025 MDX has about 60 or 70.
Holy hell.
And Noah, also, you as a mechanic, there are certain procedures that you guys can follow to put the cars into a specific mode to access things. Like you might have to put, you put it in an accessory mode, and then you have to flip the left blinker up and pull this and do that in a certain sequence to access stuff. Isn't that the case a lot of times?
Yeah. So we have our actual scan tools that we can hook up to the car and look at certain systems. But stuff for our touchscreen things, you can hit a certain specific buttons together in a sequence.
Yep.
And it'll bring up a completely different diagnostic section that only we can access. It's
pretty wild.
It is wild.
And we are not meant to know that.
No,
stuff.
And we will screw it up.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it makes sense. Listen, you just have to sort of acquiesce to this and realize, let the mechanics, let the technicians do it, because I think, you can try to save some bucks, and you're going to, and if you can, certainly, and you have the knowledge, but otherwise, to me, there's always something that's going to get effed up if you start tinkering around under the hood.
Yeah, very well could.
Yeah, and listen, it's always a good thing if you're looking to buy a car, if you know somebody who works on them, go and ask them. My mom got an Acura recently, and obviously she had me look at it first just to make sure, and I went into all of those diagnostic sub-menus that nobody really knows about,
right,
just to make sure that there wasn't anything wrong with that.
All right. Good to know.
Excellent. All right, Noah, thanks. We appreciate it, man. All right, so, yeah, there's a lot there. Real quick, one more caller, because she's been on hold for a long time. She's worked in a battery factory. It's Mary who's joining us. Hey, Mary, good morning.
Morning.
What's up, Mary?
I just got off of work.
Oh,
nice.
all right.
Nice. Are you working a battery factory?
Yes, I do. I've been there for 25 years.
Wow. Okay.
I work third shift. I've worked in the different departments. The little prong thingies, Casey, are called terminals.
Terminals. There you
Okay.
go.
All right. Not
That's
prongs.
the prong thingies, the little things on top that you were connecting to. And yes, you left the terminal protector on,
So
which
do you,
happens all the time.
Right?
this is a common thing. And so are you actually working on the batteries themselves?
Yes, I actually assemble them.
Okay, and you make sort of generic batteries, or do you make for a particular dealership, or do you make batteries?
We make for, we're out in Kutztown. I don't really want to say a name.
No problem.
Because I don't know. But, we make for AAA, Walmart, AutoZone, Napa, Ozark.
Hey, Mary, what does an average battery weigh these days? Those things are heavy.
An average car battery could be about 20, 25 pounds.
Okay. Feels even heavier.
Feels
than
heavier,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
Completely full. Now, the bigger batteries, what we call our glass mat batteries, which are the higher end ones, they can be up to 75, 80 pounds.
Damn. All right. All right, Mary, thanks for checking in. We appreciate it. Take care.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll see.
Yep.
Wow. All right, well, there you go.
All right. What did she say those things are called?
Terminals.
All right. See if I can remember that next time.
All right. Well, now it's in your rearview mirror.
All right, so
you're a regular
listen,
mechanic.
Yeah.
The mistake you made was pretty simple. So that's I thought we were going to have a worse story this morning.
So did I. I think
Really?
I thought it was going to be worse. I thought fire. I thought death. But the one thing I say that the mistake you made was trying to do it at all. I think that was the mistake.
Just my brother when he was saying, "Dude, you got to go home now." I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, I gotta go."
Yeah. But as you said, Casey, one of the things that you admire about yourself, and I think that's okay to say, is that you will step out of your comfort zone and give it a shot. So now you have learned this time, and next time if you do this, then you're not going to have a problem.
Just remember never to step out of your comfort zone.
Never. So, well, listen. Now I know I can change a car battery.
Yep.
I know that
Ish.
I can ish. I think I could be better next time. I can do ceiling fans and sconces on walls.
Right.
I can do that. All right. So
All right. All you got to do is you got to find that mystery nut floating around in your engine somewhere.
Right.
Let's see where that is.
Which is going to scrape away a wire and cause that fire you were looking at.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, thank you for your texts and calls. We appreciate it. This has been a Casey moment, and we love sharing it with you.
Yes.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, later on the program today, Steve Guttenberg,
The one and only,
will be joining us a little after 9 o'clock. We'll be back with the Bizarre File, so you stay right where you are.
Bought it from Classic Collectibles in the Gateway Shopping Center, and it cost me $30 to buy, and then I paid $8 more for the autograph.
Well, and at this point, you have to keep it. I mean, it's part of
Oh, yeah,
what
it's
you're
part
known
of the
for
legend.
here.
It is mint condition.
So you have Daryl Strawberry, and do you have Doc Gooden as well?
Well, this is the Doc Gooden.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is the Doc Gooden, and by the way, on the front of it says Dwight Gooden, and on the back it says Dwight Gooden, but he signed it Doc Gooden. So
that might make it more worthwhile.
Yeah,
He
the
signed it
Topps-
with his nickname.
Topps put out a few different collections every year.
Yeah.
So they would put out like their normal baseball card set, and then they would put out like rookies sets or traded collections or limited or whatever. This was a Topps traded, which made it a little bit more rare and a little bit more collectible.
Why is it not worth much? Did Doc just fizzle out as a baseball player?
That had part to do with it, but in large part, it's just the glut of baseball cards that came out in the 80s and the early 90s. There was this. It was
like cash.
Well, it was kind of like Bitcoin at the time
Yeah,
or whatever. I mean, people spent so much money. There was an investment dollar figure attached to it. But I don't know if these things were ever worth that, but people were willing to pay for that. So that's what they cost at the time. So, it's my very classic 1984 Doc Gooden signed baseball card.
All right.
And I knew this was going to happen when I saw Nick's stuff. Because when we originally talked about this, I had something, and when we said we were going to do it, I couldn't remember. I remember what.
You remember what it is?
I remember what
good.
it is.
All right, well, we'll do this again.
All right.
Yeah, if we do it again, I know what it is.
I just thought of something now. I thought of something that I have to fix it, but I'll bring it in.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Nick, what else do you have?
So the other two are interrelated, and I don't know if you guys ever had this book, but I got this when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. It's called My Book About Me.
Oh my God, I have that.
Okay, so Casey, you and I are the same age.
Yeah.
And it's a Dr. Seuss book. It's Dr. Seuss and Roy McKee, and basically they ask you 150 questions about yourself, and you fill them in as a 5 or 6 year old.
See, my book was, I think I got ripped off. My book is My Book About Nick McElwain.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. You didn't even know him.
I didn't even know him then.
But
That's great.
I was, you could do some drawings. So here's a drawing of a sun.
That's so cute.
And a
then
hamburger.
A guy. No, Preston. That's not a hamburger.
Hang on. Let me
wait,
see if I can guess what that is.
Airplane?
No.
I think it's
bus.
the ocean.
No.
Wait,
It's a guy with a lot of eyes and noses.
Okay.
Wait, how do you remember that?
Because I remember going over this with my mom at one point, and she,
Okay.
it was a
Nick
big
doesn't
deal.
have many childhood memories.
Yeah.
He just recalls one or two.
I had to write them down. First of all, there's one thing you should know. Am I a boy or am I a girl? Well, I'll tell you. I am a ... boy.
Yay!
I weigh 60 pounds. How tall am I? 4 feet.
How giant is my head?
I counted my teeth. I have 13 up top. I have 11 downstairs. You draw your hand, so it's little things like that.
Is that book still available? I think that's an adorable concept because I want to fill it out.
That's my hair color. See, I drew it. I had a little bit blonder hair when I was a young boy. And so that's blonde with a little bit of brunette there.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I think
You were
5 or
doing the ombre look before it became popular.
I think it was 5 or 6, but there are some pop culture references on here.
Okay.
Like including my favorite song, Where in the World I Would Like to Live. Here's my address.
What's your
growing up.
favorite song?
Where'd you say, where would you like to live? Both of them. Answer both questions.
Let's see. Where would I like to live? I got to go back to that one.
All right.
Somewhere in Hawaii, the beach.
I live in the United States. I circled the United States, and then I played tic-tac-toe on that page. Okay. And then England apparently made the list.
And then
What song? I want to hear.
song.
I want to hear your favorite song. Oh no! Oh my God!
Wow.
all the way back then. I know you will.
On Amazon for $10.
That's adorable.
It is 60 steps from my tree to the mailbox. My favorite color back at the time was red. Apparently, I owned 170 buttons.
Wow.
You would go around and get autographs from people in your life. So
Like
I have,
Doc Gooden.
yeah, right. Maybe that's what started it. My Aunt Ann signed it. My Uncle Michael signed it. Our mailman, Ralph K. Lapp, signed
Your
it. At the time.
mailman.
Yeah. I got a policeman's autograph. I got an autograph of a man with a beard.
Don't you think that's amazing for a kid to do that? To basically be interviewed, but to talk about, to be able to express what they're experiencing. It's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I'm glad that I found it. I don't know if it was in my mom's house or in my house when I moved or whatever, but I like to collect leaves, rocks, food. There you go, food, cans, and autographs.
So this is okay. What else do you, Nick? What else do you have for the class?
Well, all right. So I was trying
If
to
you're
find
just tuning in, this is a show and tell. On
Well, you do the
President
next
State
item.
Show.
Give me, and I'll look through it and see if
Yeah.
I can find anything.
And if I were to get a birthday present that year, and I know that I didn't get it, but what I wanted was more than anything in the world, a BMX bike.
Wow,
that's a good one.
One of the questions: what kind of woman are you attracted to?
That's a good one.
And then this is just something that was. We can go over it if you want, but it's an autobiography that I wrote of myself in 6th grade. So I used sort of that as inspiration or whatever.
A Nick in Time.
The title
What
of it
a
is
great title.
Wow.
A Nick in Time, yeah. And
All
I
right.
believe I had to write the title page, Casey, had to appear in perfect cursive.
Wow.
So that's where I did that. So these guys were stored next to each other.
Read a little bit of that
Yeah.
if you would.
All
please.
right.
Start
I'd
with
like to hear
the
it.
dedication.
Some of it.
Okay.
Call me Ishmael.
Chapter 1. Although I've only been alive for 11 years and 11 months, I think I've had an interesting life so far. I know that I've been lucky to do many things and go many places and have had opportunities that other children have not had.
You wrote this?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am thankful for the good. I had a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am thankful for these good things and also for being a part of a strong, loving family. Well, that's nice. My family background is rather unusual. My mother is Irish and Italian. Her mother's parents, my maternal great-grandparents, were born in Ireland and came to America in the early 1920s. I knew both of my great-grandparents, Martha and James Kelly, and I got to spend quite a bit of time with them when I was a baby before they died.
It's very good writing.
Really well written.
Do you mention the raisins and the meatballs, which I'm a fan of?
I don't, but here's an interesting fact. I think I may have mentioned this on the air at one point. This is about my mom, Kelly. She did whatever jobs she could, waitressing, house cleaning, caring for other children, and she got a job as a cashier for the Acme supermarket near her home in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. She made $17.50 a week with the Acme and raised 4 daughters.
Wow.
Her second daughter, Martha, was my mother's mother. She died of cancer when she was 47 before I was born. I'm sorry I never knew her. I think we really would have liked each other.
Is she the aunt that said cassette?
That was my dad's mom.
Oh, okay.
Had the cassette player, yeah. So there's also all sorts of different chapters in here.
That you have that is so freaking wonderful.
Here's a picture of me when I was 5 months old. I'll hold it for the camera. But, Casey, you mentioned the big head.
Oh, my God. Oh, I thought that was a jack-o'-lantern.
And look at how tiny you have written quite a bit of text in this book.
Oh, is that typed?
Oh, it's typed. Okay, I couldn't tell from here.
Well, this is written, but the portion of the autobiography is typed.
And your mom held on to this?
Yeah.
See, I think if my mom had been around, I think she would have had a story.
Yeah, I've kept a lot of stuff like that my kids
I think
have.
moms are probably.
Oh my God! Here's my dog from 1986, Tugger.
Tugger
as a puppy, and then
it's a picture, right? It's not in there.
Yeah, and then here's. Oh my God! He's still in
God! Oh my God!
And here's me, my mom, and my 2 brothers at Disney World in the spring of 1985 with another dog, Pluto.
Hey, Nick, has your son, has Ben seen this?
He's not.
Oh.
No, I think we'll share it this weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to go through that. I want to look at Tugger.
Because I told you, my dad, he spoke into a digital recorder for about 4 or 5 hours in different segments.
That's cool.
And gave me a chronicle of our early lives and everything, and I'm going through it right now.
Wow. That's really cool, Nick.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
well
awesome.
done.
Hey.
All right,
And then third?
Well, I think
don't have
that
time?
was his third thing.
Oh, that was your third?
Yeah, Doc Gooden, the Book of Me, and the
May I say,
autobiography.
all you guys had good stuff.
And by the way, Nick, a number of people are texting in saying that your Doc Gooden card is worth about $445.
I'll sell it to you right now.
Sold.
I don't know if you guys knew that I'm an artist. This is a bird.
With a penis.
Now, I think
That's a tail.
That's
Oh.
that's
that's
a
a
tail.
red
But it
penis
does look like
swallow.
a penis.
That's the
a-
Dr. Seuss bird. That's the bird I drew.
Nice job, Nick McElwain. Thank you. It's show and tell, and I think we have time for Marissa.
Marissa, what do you have for the class?
She just ran out of her office.
Yeah.
So she didn't know she was going to be doing it.
Yeah, she was telling me out before we started the segment. She had one just in case we didn't have enough, or we had too much time.
She's filling out one of those Dr. Seuss books right now?
Well, she wasn't sure if this segment didn't go anywhere and we had extra time, we could put her in. But
She's got a big package.
we got just enough to do another one, and then we got a break because we have some guests coming up in a moment. All right, Marissa.
Is that what is that, a canned ham?
Oh, my God.
She just dumped something heavily on the counter.
I mentioned this before, and you guys kind of lit up. And it lives in my house, and I get to see it every day, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Whoa.
It is an old-time adding machine.
Oh, wow.
Or the calculator, if you will, but it's a type that you would find in like a store.
And you pull the lever down when
the clerk would print up your receipt.
Or at Magnata and Sons office in South Philadelphia, because this was my grandmother's adding machine where she kept the books.
Let's hear some noise from that. Let's hear it. Crank it. There you go.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. When my grandparents had one, it was a little bit bigger than that, and as a kid, I played with it all the time. I loved it.
You're fascinated. Preston, we used to have the old, Underwood typewriters. I mean, the real old, the kind of stuff Tom Hanks collects. And you're fascinated by them as a kid.
Wait, so are these bells?
Yeah, no, that should be where the printer ribbon is.
Oh, maybe that's why it doesn't print anymore.
Well,
There's a ribbon that goes between those. There's two reels.
Technically,
that hold
Preston, it's an adding machine / Sibian.
It's about that size.
So there's still like there's still there's still numbers on it from the last thing my grandmother typed, because my grandmother like never stopped working. So my dad or my grandfather probably just like handed her a calculator and she just like swapped it out. Was like, all right, I'm done with these numbers, and boom, on to the next thing.
Was it an accounting firm? What was it?
It was a HVAC plumbing company.
Oh, okay.
So they were right there on Snyder Avenue, and my grandmother was in the office and kept the books.
See, I want something like. Oh, okay, I have another idea then. Okay, you guys are good. Kathy, do you have any ideas now? You said you do.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know. I remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple more things, so I'll be ready for another show.
Frankly, I think you guys all killed it.
Yeah, this says it's a Burroughs portable adding machine.
Look at how portable it is. Only weighs 112 pounds.
And this is the type of thing that if you were at a general store or something like that, because my grandparents owned a general store, and that's what they would use to ring up the receipts.
And Preston, you put this in like an antique store out, in any remote area, and a little extra dust on it, you could sell it for a lot of money.
Yeah, totally.
I bet you could, right? I mean, these things, people love these things.
Yeah, I was in a store just this weekend, and they had things like this all over decorating
How
the
much?
store.
I'm sorry.
No, it was a clothing store, and this was just filling out the shelves.
So is that out as decoration in your house?
It
Or you
is.
Just, yeah.
It's in all
Marissa's
my.
got, I'm sorry to interrupt, she's got some cool antiques. You have antique cameras, radios? Or have you started doing radios yet?
I'd love to get an
I
antique
have
radio.
a radio that's my boyfriend's grandfather. So all the cameras you'll see in like a Zoom call or when I did my TV show, they were in the background. Those are all my grandparents.
They're kind of like the ones that you look down at, you know?
Yeah.
You look down into they're really cool.
So it's everything from my grandparents, the old ones, like the Polaroid ones, to the ones my dad used in the 60s and
Like
the 70s.
A Browning camera, like the
One like that from
Yeah,
my grandfather,
right.
and then a Nikon from my parents and things like that. And then I have photos that I realized later that were like developed on that and are printed and hanging on my wall from those cameras.
Cool.
Wow. Oh, excellent. Well done, Marissa.
That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
show and tell.
First ever Preston and Steve show and tell. And Marissa's adding machine. That's really cool. All right, so now we've given some ideas to
Yes,
Steve
now
and
we have
Kathy.
ideas, yes.
And next time, I think we'll have a full class participation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I sent you guys the link for my shoes. You guys might want to get them now before everybody gets them.
All right, well, thank you guys. Let's take a break. Come back in a second. When we return, Mr. Alex Lifeson of Rush, talking about his new band, Envy of None. His fellow bandmate, Andy Kern, will be joining us as well. We'll be back in a moment. Don't forget to
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thanks, Miss. Before we get to the B file, I missed a couple of shirts, and I gotta make good on those. And this is from one of our own, Brendan, in our digital sales group. Department? That's the word I'm looking for.
Battalion.
Brendan O'Neill is his name. He sent me an email that said, hey, it's long hair Brendan from the digital sales department.
Yeah.
Across the hall, wondering if you could give a gnarly shout out to my best buddy Eric, who just had his 25th birthday this weekend. So I was supposed to do it yesterday. So, Eric is the ultimate friend and is one of the few people who can truly make me pee myself laughing. We've been through everything together, from surviving high school to concerts, movies, beach trips, and even a few near-death experiences.
Wow.
But he's always had my back no matter what. Eric's been listening to your show religiously for years and is actually the reason that I'm working here. He forwarded me the job posting after hearing for an ad on the open position on MMR. So anything I've screwed up in the past year and a half, it's his fault. If you could give him an extra hearty shout out Monday, I know that would make his birthday extra special. So here we go. That's a heavy one. Sorry, I missed it yesterday. All right, here's another one. It says, good morning, guys. Sorry to bother you at work. I would like to request a shout out from my son-in-law, Brandon Ertel. He starts an awesome job on June 2nd. I'm so proud of him. Also, he is awaiting the arrival of his third child on July 23rd, my grandson.
Wow, two big life things.
A tradition of our family to attend the MM barbecues together. Please let him know that we love him and are so proud of his achievements with a big, juicy shout out. Thank you. That's from Janine Rabadou. He said, she listens at St. Mary's Hospital Lab. Fellow Lab Rats United listening to WMMR. And she says, in honor of Kathy. Hey, bitches, hey, what? So here you go. And then another one that I missed says, hey, I was hoping you could do a shout out for my 5-year-old son, Jack. His last day of pre-K is Wednesday, May 28th. So I'm way off by this. Unless I already did this. I don't remember.
I don't remember this.
And since he has started pre-K, we have been able to listen to the show every morning. But with summer camp and then kindergarten, he won't be able to listen as much. He absolutely loves listening to you guys. And one of the things he says when we get in the car in the morning is, can we listen to my show?
Wow.
And he loves Steve's Michael Jackson impression. He was bummed that one day you guys were doing a Zoom for the kids in the car and he wasn't able to call in the show with his drums to show you his drumsticks and skills. Thanks for being a goodish influence on him. That is from Amanda Campbell.
This one's for you, buddy. I'm going to blow my O-ring out.
There's your shart. And then one last thing, Marissa sent this to me. I thought this was great. With our coolest teacher yesterday from Interboro High School, we had Bob Lavery win. Bill. I'm sorry. Bill Lavery and 2SP Brewing Company on their social media congratulated him and offered him, they made up this big graphic, to come by the tap room for a beer on them.
Oh, wow.
And that's what it looks
Look at
like.
that.
I was
That's
showing it to
terrific,
you.
man.
It says, President Steve, coolest teacher. Congrats to the coolest buck. And it says Bill Lavery, allied health teacher, Bob, and Interboro. Oh, see, it says Bob there.
Yeah, so Bob is the brewer at 2SP, and he went to Interboro.
Oh, okay. It says Bob at an Interboro alum has your tab. If you can make it in this week for a beer, go Bucks. So I thought that was kind of fun.
That's excellent.
For them to do that. So, hey, if you want to offer up some stuff, some added things for our coolest teachers, that's on you, gang. You can absolutely do that. And speaking of coolest teacher, the next school is Gwinnett Mercy Academy. You can vote by texting the word teacher to 610-660-9333, and we'll send you the link. But Marissa found this bit of information about Gwinnett Mercy Academy High School. Their flag football team won the Pennsylvania Flag Football Championship.
Oh, wow.
And they received a very special surprise, a visit from Jalen Hurts to celebrate their championship. And there was a picture.
That's pretty awesome.
With them and Jalen. So I thought that was awesome. So
we work with Jalen, you know. We sell a Window Nation window.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You guys get to vote on those. Oh, man, and there's another one. All right, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to get backed up on my charts.
Listen, there's a whole
bunch.
bunch. And yeah, you'll have some sort of rupture.
It says, hey, hi, Presbo, longtime listener here. Since Y100 Days, I'm writing with a very special request. I'd like to surprise my mom, Maureen, better known these days as Moo Moo, to her grandkids, with a wet, juicy shout out for her birthday on June 3rd. About 15 years ago, I introduced her to your show, and she's been completely hooked ever since. We started as something I listened to during my morning routine, turned into a full-blown obsession we now share. At this point, we practically speak our own language, and it's made entirely of Preston and Steve quotes, and then in parentheses she puts Nell being tie-tie. We made some amazing memories together over the years, like attending Camp Out for Hunger, giving blood to the eye bleed, and your show has been a constant source of joy, ridiculousness, and bonding for us. So this year I'd like to make her birthday even more special with a juicy shart, which I know would absolutely make her day. Thanks for being a part of our lives in such a real and amazing way. You guys rock. Thank you. And that is from Jackie Doherty. So there's a shard out for you. So thank you guys for
Many
listening.
years ago when we opened the floodgates with the shards, we didn't know how it was going to go. But you know what? It's really nice to be able to provide these little special mentions for people.
Yeah, and I do float in and out of them, so I apologize if I don't. I apologize if I don't get to them on time or not. I do my best.
I apologize.
All right, let's get to the Bizarre File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Ada Home Service. Adam Home Services.
I just ate a home.
You're covered with next day repairs and tune-ups at AdamHomeServices.com. All right, conveyor belts for luggage are not places to play. That rule is not necessarily known by 2-year-old boys who, for that matter, are too young to read the warning signs posted against riding the baggage conveyor system. And that may be why a toddler entered the checked baggage conveyor belt system in Terminal A at Newark Liberty Airport. Quick action by Port Authority Police Department cops prevented what could have been a dangerous situation for a small child. It happened on Wednesday around 6:30 p.m. at the JetBlue counter. A mother was interacting with the agent behind the counter when her 2-year-old managed to get onto the conveyor belt next to and behind the counter. And the police department's the president of the police department's union, Frank Conti, said It was something that happened in the blink of an eye. The conveyor belt leads directly into a chute.
Yes.
And into the terminal's luggage screening system, which is exactly where the toddler plunged to.
So I've never wanted to ride that one. The one that I want to ride is the actual luggage return.
Some Port Authority officers who'd happened to be within earshot of the third floor of the terminal sprang into action. 2 cops were able to move into the system immediately. The fact that they were a pair was vital. Conti said there was a split in the belts. One officer went towards one direction, one went toward the other direction. One of them was able to observe the child as they were approaching one of the X-ray units utilized to analyze luggage contents. Just before reaching the X-ray, the officer nabbed the toddler and pulled him to safety. The toddler's grandfather expressed appreciation to the cops who pulled him out of the luggage system and said that the boy and his mother are fine. The Staten Island family successfully flew to Tampa for vacation, the grandfather said, but it appeared that the most memorable trip for them was the one taken before they boarded the plane.
So in Die Hard 2, when they go and they have to fight on the luggage conveyor belt, the luggage has gone through. What they indicate, and movies sometimes lie, that there is a sort of a large, almost amusement park level conveyor belt system that's shooting off into different ways.
There definitely
and
is.
if you fell off that, you'd die.
Yep, absolutely. A Long Island homeowner found a body in his backyard swimming pool as he was opening it for the season last Sunday.
I get upset if I find like a rabbit or something. Find a dead human.
Shoreham man rolled back the cover and made the shocking discovery. Police are investigating and say that an autopsy is needed to determine the identity of the victim and the cause of death. Neighbors are trying to make sense of it. Investigators are working to determine if there's a connection to another mystery that led to a manhunt last fall in the same neighborhood. A guy named Matthew Zoll was wanted in connection to the stabbing death of his father, Joseph, nearby. And police searched the area for weeks in November, but Matthew Zoll was never found. And it makes perfect sense because once you cover those things over, you don't have it up until late spring.
When you close the pool at the end of the season, do you get everyone out of the pool?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The police commissioner said, we are currently waiting for a DNA analysis to confirm that, but, based on all of the ancillary evidence that we were able to uncover, we are investigating that strong possibility. Police said it appears the body had been in the water for a while. That's messed up.
What's the what dead stuff have you found in your pool?
Oh, usually mice.
Okay, we had a little bunny, which I was trying to save this thing, and it was a nightmare. And he has a little grave site on my garden, and a snake.
Yeah, mice, frogs, and snakes. Pretty much that's what we've found. Yep. In Edmonton, senior is beaten and bruised but alive after being attacked by a moose in his yard.
Moose?
Yes.
Why don't you forget the moose?
Not this guy.
For a moment.
A female moose and her calf had been roaming North Saskatchewan, the river valley in East Edmonton.
If it's a female, is it a Mussolini?
Near Hay Kwu Son's house for the past few weeks. And that is until the mom got a little closer to him. While working in his backyard last Saturday, the 75-year-old came face-to-face with Mama Moose protecting her calf. He said, we made eye contact, and then she just ran at me.
Jeez.
He said he can't believe that he survived a moose attack. He said, my experience, horrible. I'm a lucky guy. I'm still standing here talking to you. He suffered 3 broken ribs, a bump on the head, and 2 black eyes, along with a large gash in his leg that needed stitches. Son's neighbors saw him after the attack and called an ambulance.
What'd you get, beat up by a moose?
He said, so I got some first aid, got some bandages, and or his neighbor did, taped him up a bit for his leg, and then my wife called 911. EMS responded, took the patient to the hospital in stable condition. Now, Edmonton police said over the past few days, there have been intermittent moose sightings in southeastern Edmonton. And unfortunately, the calf that was with the mama moose was hit in a collision with a vehicle overnight. Alberta Fish and Wildlife said the calf did not survive, so it's just a cow now that we are trying to relocate.
They're impossibly huge and weird because they have what are kind of spindly legs holding up these things, but they're just, once they get pissed, forget it.
Yeah, they're very powerful animals. All right, and then finally, we will do one more story. A British Airways cabin crew member was arrested at London Heathrow's Heathrow Airport after colleagues discovered him dancing naked in a business class lavatory during a transatlantic flight. It's a crew member.
So he was in the bathroom with the door closed, or?
Yeah, he was dancing, looking at the mirror. He was tucking, he was doing the tuck. The incident occurred
This is
on
the best flight of my life.
San Francisco. On a San Francisco to London service prompting an investigation into suspected drug use aboard the aircraft. So the steward disappeared from his duties during meal service.
Spotted dick.
During meal service on the busy flight.
I spotted dick.
Flight attendants initiated a search of the Airbus aircraft when the crew member failed to report for his assigned responsibility, serving food and beverages to passengers. Now, colleagues discovered his absence as they distributed meals during the 10.5-hour journey across the Atlantic. They were cruising at 37,000 feet when the search began, with crew members checking various sections of the double-decker plane.
It's dancing time.
The in-flight crew supervisor located the missing steward in the Club World cabin restroom, where he was found completely nude and dancing. The discovery shocked the crew
There's not a lot of
supervisor,
room to dance.
who immediately took action to address the situation. Well, he was in the real luxurious.
Oh, so he's probably voguing.
He had plenty of room. Flight attendants quickly clothed the steward using spare pajamas designated for first-class passengers. They then escorted him to a premium cabin section where they secured him in a luxury seat for the flight's duration.
Secured him.
British Airways management contacted authorities during the flight, alerting police to the incident, and law enforcement officers met upon his arrival. So,
wow.
Yeah, he felt the need to get naked and dance.
So, Preston, you alluded to it, but are the bathrooms in first class that much bigger or that much nicer?
So this is one of those big double-decker aircraft.
Right.
So I would imagine on a craft that big, their first class has got to be tricked out pretty well.
They're so cramped in just regular airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do a damn thing in there.
Dude. Yeah, it's a nightmare, especially if you actually need to sit down and get to business.
Yep.
It's like a coffin.
All right. That is, like I said, the B-File. So we're going to take a quick break. We will come back in a moment, a little later this morning, a little less than an hour from now. Stephen Guttenberg is going to be joining us. We've got some other things coming up, too. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
Well, you want a Preston and Steve tattoo? Text the word tattoo to 39333. It's from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing on South Street. We'll be back in a few.
Preston and Steve.
Quickly, Nick, you wanted to plug the Big Climb coming up.
Yeah, we're really excited for it this year. Big Climb Philly benefits Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I've done Big Climb in the past, and it's been in a building in Center City. But this year, it's at the Link, which I'm really excited about. I got to go down to the Link yesterday. We did sort of a backstage tour and places of that building that I'd never been before, and what the course is going to look like. And it's a bunch of stairs at the beginning, and then basically up and down the stands as you go, and it's sort of around the building and the lower concourse. So it's May 6th. I would love for you to join Team Luke. My nephew Luke is in remission from leukemia. He's doing really well. But LLS is just an awesome organization, and we'd love to have you be a part of Team Luke. It's Saturday, May 6th. It's in the morning. All the information's up on my social media and on PrestonandSteve.com. But it's a great event, and it's going to be really cool to have it at the Link this year.
Nice. And you guys will be going up and down stairs as opposed to just all the way up, right?
There's a staircase in the close to one of the main entrances that goes up, I think, like 5 flights. And then so we go up that, and then we come down the ramps, and then we go up and down the stands quite a bit around the lower concourse.
That's pretty cool.
And then down into like the locker rooms and the tunnels and stuff. So you come out onto the field at the end of it. And Preston, I think you had an event there last year, right? And
yes, it's with the Take Steps walk for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Yeah, and it's a cool place to have a charity event. So I'm psyched that it's there this year.
Excellent. All right. Well, good luck to you, sir. It's going to be awesome. I usually don't put a whole lot of stock in the national this day, national that day when it comes to food. Because sometimes we find out like there's multiple ones.
Yeah,
and, like
it's a
there's
bunch of crap.
National Pancake Days and stuff like that. Although we do talk about that one, but today it's National Grilled Cheese Day.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
I am a massive fan of a good grilled cheese sandwich. We've talked about the pairing with tomato basil soup, which is one of my favorites.
It's when you get tomato soup and a good grilled cheese. That's about
Yeah. That's a great snow day activity.
Yeah. What was the name of the place that we had?
Meltdown?
Meltdown.
Oh, man.
Yeah, mother of God.
They were so good. The problem is that they were overpriced. You know what I mean? Because they were in and around the area.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they're around that much anymore, but
I like riffs on the grilled cheese. I mean, I do like the standard easy way to go is just bread, butter, obviously to grill it with. And a good cheese, even just your standard American slices will work just fine. But if you throw in a little cheddar and stuff like that, or Gouda, it can get much better. But there's stuff you can add to it like pesto, and tomato. Oh, yum, man.
Yeah.
There's a guy who listens to our show, and he lives in Idaho. And we talked about him before. He apparently has the greatest grilled cheese recipe of all time.
Liar!
And he will not give it to me in writing.
Really?
Yeah, he wants me to call him so he can talk me through the steps.
Are you going to do it?
No.
Why?
No, because it's not that.
You don't want me to give your phone number.
No,
okay.
not necessarily. No, because I make a good grilled cheese. I don't need your help.
All right,
bro.
what's your grilled cheese?
Listen, the secret ingredient is
love.
Is butter. Lots of butter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just as simple as that.
So I'm going to mention a bit. The Couch Tomato has a grilled cheese sandwich that is extraordinary, and it uses the toast is buttered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you. That's what makes it different than being toasted. Making it grilled is you use either some butter or oil, but butter is usually the way to go. So let me ask you this fundamental technique question when it comes to grilled cheese: do you butter the bread?
No.
All right. How do you do it?
I do a straight up, and first of all, I have a griddle, so I like to make it on the electric griddle rather than on the frying pan or whatever. But I take a huge pat of butter and I stick that on the griddle and I let that melt,
There you
but
go.
not all the way.
Okay.
You know, just and then I throw the whole grilled cheese on that and I spread it around. Then I take another pat of butter and I put that on the top. I don't spread it. And then when it's time to flip it, I flip it and I allow that to melt and then I mix it around.
I was raised on buttering the bread.
I'm down with that.
You have to butter the bread.
Yeah.
But the tough part of that is when you take butter and you spread it on untoasted bread, it can sometimes tear the bread a little bit. And you lose a little bit of your integrity and
your cohesion.
Your sandwich.
So what they do a lot of times on these Grateful Dead fish lots is they'll have a paintbrush and they will take already melted butter and they will spread it with the paintbrush, and that's how they.
That's a
apply
great
that
way
as
to
well.
do it too. If you have the time to melt the butter ahead of time and take a brush and brush it onto the bread, that's probably the best technique. But I have come around on throwing the butter onto the warm skillet, and then putting the bread on top of that. But then you have the mystery of that other side.
What do you have
take
to
it off,
do?
and then you throw down more butter and let that melt, or do your technique where you put it on ahead of time.
Yeah, I put that pat of butter, and it's a big old pat.
Do you guys remember a butter campaign that was give them a little pat of butter?
Give them that pat. Yes,
Butter.
absolutely.
Give them a little pat of butter. Butter. It just made me think of
It
that.
was also the theme song to Law and Order SVU.
I did not know that initially.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I have a technical question.
Yes.
Wawa has a campaign right now for these grilled paninis.
Oh my God, my daughter loves them.
Right. And they look terrific. They look like they're a lot.
Yeah.
One of the grilled paninis is grilled with mac and cheese.
That's her favorite.
Okay. Is that a grilled cheese sandwich?
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, it's a panini.
Wait a second.
I'd call it a grilled. Well, it's not grilled because it's
a panini.
Well, it depends
it's
on.
not ciabatta, it's panini.
Right, I know, but it depends on whether they butter or use oil to
I have a follow-up question.
Now there's
Does it
I
involve
know they
dragons?
put it in a panini press. Maybe that is considered that because it may be a grilled cheese with pasta.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
You
Now, do you think, follow-up question, Wawa would send us some so we could sample them?
Well, a panini press is a.
It's kind of a grilled cheese, right?
No, it's a whole different sandwich. It's a panini.
Now, let me ask you guys this, because
Says Master Chef. Master Chef Kathy Romano.
just a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, I came to this amazing
country
revelation of using leftover meatballs, and I make a grilled cheese meatball sandwich. Now, I don't necessarily consider it a meatball first sandwich. I consider it a grilled cheese sandwich first.
With meatballs.
With meatballs, because what I'll do is I cut up the meatballs, I cook them in the microwave, then I put them on, the cheesed bread, but I use provolone cheese, and then I use the sauce to taste, not overly sauce it, but like sauce to taste, and then I grill that with the butter and all that, and I'm telling you, it is amazing.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the way to get creative with grilled cheese is using the different types of cheese. Once you start to add in elements
like meat,
you're on your way to a
change it.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that,
You know what
Steve.
I'm
I think
saying?
it takes it. I think
So
it
it's a meatball sandwich and not a grilled cheese.
I think so. I think that once you add meat, that's the main ingredient.
Right.
That has become the main ingredient.
The cheese needs to be the star.
The cheese needs to be the star.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You don't have to
That's
be
the name of my book.
And tell us about your book, The Cheese Needs to Be the Star. Well, it's really pretty much a look back at my career in radio.
Preston, have you seen the number of texts coming in saying that one should use mayo instead of butter?
There's a guy on the line right or girl.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
says
seen
that.
it. I have not dared
on.
to
I
try
rebuke
it.
you.
I've not dared to try it, but that is a technique. So we have a few people. Let me go to Dave
right.
here. Hi, Dave. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Not much. Yeah, mayo is it. It doesn't tear the bread like butter would, and it fries up crisp.
Well, mayo is also,
It's a wholly different flavor than butter, though.
It would make.
You know what I mean?
I would have to try it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll do it today.
Yeah, I would have to try it. So
I like it's odd because Steve, I do like mayonnaise, but the idea of searing it like that seems kind of gross.
There are a lot of eggs in mayo. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's eggs and oil.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got both ingredients. Yeah, you know,
But
I would
there's
have
no
to
eggs
try
and
it.
butter.
Ooh.
There's no eggs and
And
butter
you
though.
can't tune a fish.
If you
Yeah.
don't tune your butt.
You know,
I don't know.
dated a girl for a hot minute who they made their French toast with
Thanks, Dave.
cheese. And so now I'm wondering if you were to make a grilled cheese and then kind of coat everything in the egg wash.
Wait,
the same way
Well,
you
it's a
would.
Monte Cristo sandwich is
Okay.
made that way.
All
It's,
right.
it's French toast, and then in between is cheese and turkey, and then apple slices.
What would they do, Casey?
She would make, and I never had it. We didn't date long enough for me to try her.
Yeah.
But they would do their
Have you
French
tasted
toast.
my daughter's sandwich?
They would do French toast with cheese.
French toast with cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't. Well, not with syrup. I mean, but if it was a grilled cheese like French toast style, I'd do that.
All right, hang on. I'm going to go to Jenna because she does the mayo technique as well. Hi, Jenna. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Wonderful. All right, Jenna, what is it that's so much better with mayonnaise instead of butter?
It's just the flavor of it. I don't know. I grew up eating mayonnaise on every single sandwich, and my son likes just cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise, and it's easier just to throw it in the frying pan and say, hey, here's a grilled cheese, and he's not a big fan of butter, so that was the big difference there.
Okay.
But you can also use bacon grease. I don't know if Kathy remembers the Conshohocken Cafe that was on Fayette Street. I worked there all through college and everything, and we used to use bacon grease for our grilled cheeses, too.
That's a great idea. We used to save our bacon grease when I was a kid growing up.
And drink it in the morning.
No, we would not drink it in the morning, but we could use it to as a base to cook things with, a la, shortening or
It was a standard.
lard
we had
or whatever.
We had those jars,
Yeah.
mason jars. Of,
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what we
It was
keep
a
it.
standard.
Or like an old
Yeah.
jelly jar or
Yep.
something like that.
And my
Yeah.
mother used to hollow out a bagel and keep her birth control pills.
Oh
in
my
it.
God,
Oh my God!
that's
Did
so
you ever
unique.
It's just a thing you used to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Southern.
Did you? Okay, this is a two-part question. And what are your thoughts on mustard, whether it be yellow mustard or spicy mustard on your grilled cheese? And what do you consider a grilled ham and cheese? Is that still grilled cheese, or are we going into the other territory?
You're raising a good point with the ham inclusion. I still believe that the cheese, as per Preston's best-selling novel, the cheese is the star.
I would never say that. I would never say a grilled cheese with ham.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd
Right.
say it's a grilled ham and cheese.
Exactly.
So ham takes top billing.
Okay.
I don't think it's a grilled cheese anymore.
It does take top, but you have to do that with mustard, right? Grilled ham and cheese with mustard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a star to be in my sandwich.
No.
And you know what's oddly is good on that is a little bit of pineapple.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not.
come over?
Yeah.
I should probably try that today,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. See, Wawa can do that.
So I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I'll ask you a question.
Mustard?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think mustard with a grilled cheese can be good.
Yeah.
but it's great all by itself. You know what
It
I mean?
is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Spicy brown, though, right?
I could do either, but I prefer spicy brown.
Especially if ham is involved.
I'm going with Casey's take on that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on? I'm sorry to do this. Grilled peanut butter and jelly.
No,
Because I know we're talking about grilled cheese.
That's like a
Yeah.
hot pocket. And
I would say unequivocally,
back to hell, demon.
Go suck it.
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No, the idea of that. No,
That's not a grilled cheese at all. It's not. There's no cheese. It's not. Certainly, you know what? It's not. It's not a full traditional turkey dinner.
I find it disrespectful that on National Grilled Cheese Day that you would even raise that question.
I'm begging for your forgiveness.
Why don't you go into a synagogue and say, "What if Jesus was the son?"
All right,
you don't do that.
We are overrun with mayonnaise.
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. Don't forget our blood drive next week.
What?
Yeah, next Thursday and Friday, the I Bleed for Preston and Steve blood drive. If you're not signed up yet, do it now.
First time we've done 2 days. Just by scheduling, we had to do it this way.
Yep. So Thursday, June 12th at Live Casino and Hotel, and then Friday, June 13th at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center at Oak. So on Thursday, like Pierre is going to be broadcasting live, and you can swing by and spend time with him and obviously make the donation. And then on Friday, we'll be doing our show live at Oak. So all the details at WMMR.com and your chance to sign up. And all donors get the newest Preston and Steve t-shirt. It was designed by listener Kristen Kimball, who we met in Clearwater. And donors also get the Preston and Steve Show tote bag from Window Nation. You can use that when you're doing your shopping and everything. So
we have to now go for a new world record.
Yes.
At the blood drive.
Our Duncan Munchkins.
Munchkin.
Yeah, the Munchkin toss.
We've been rocking the world when it comes to the Munchkin tossing category, and I think we can set another record.
I may have to recuse myself. I don't think my arm can throw it that far anymore.
Well, we got the cannon.
I'll do the
here.
play-by-play. You guys do the work.
Yeah, and I'll be in like peak physical conditioning because
you've been lifting batteries.
Well, I'm also playing in the NRG flag football tournament on Wednesday, so I got to get my arm ready.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Get it ready. Hey, got an email from someone named Marissa Magnata.
Hey.
No, she actually sent me this idea for a topic of conversation, but I was going to read what she wrote and would love for you to chime in. She said, I got served a video below, and she sent me the link to it. It features a couple with bags packed, ready for a big trip. It reads, us 6 months ago. Let's quit our jobs to travel, and maybe we can become travel influencers. And in the video, the couple spins around. The video freezes. It changes to like a scary black and white. And then it says, we only gained 150 followers. We only influenced our family and friends. We are preparing to look for jobs again.
Oh, man.
And Marissa said she checked the profile thinking, all right, maybe they have hundreds of thousands of followers, and this was like a flashback to the beginning of their journey. Nope. They have 4,100 followers, and they were very humble in sharing this whole thing, but it just apparently did not work for them. And I'm wondering how many people out there have taken a run at being an influencer, and maybe you're just getting started, or it came and went. You realized it was too much work, or you weren't able to find an audience, or it wasn't what it was cracked up to be, or maybe you're doing well, or did you quit your job, or you're trying to do both at the same time. So I want to open it up to any of these discussions. 610-660-9333. You can call or text that number if you are an influencer, if you've tried to become an influencer, what that whole thing is about. And by the way, what number of followers means you are a successful influencer or not?
So here's the truth with all this. We're still in the early stages of this, relatively speaking, as a form or an outlet or whatever these vague terms are. No one really knows for sure what if you say you're an influencer and you have 10,000 followers, okay, maybe. I think there are a lot of people who looked at this out of the gate, and especially I think during COVID, there was a mad rush because everyone was, we've talked to a number of comedians and entertainers who got massive followings because everyone was just scrolling and wanted the distraction. So I think there's probably a lot of these cases. Doesn't mean you can't have something that hits. But I was reading an article that said the likelihood of getting a hit account that generates real capital, or that you have an online presence through TikTok or so on and so forth, is becoming more and more as likely as getting a hit TV show. Because you're competing against such a massive wealth of people who are doing exactly the same thing.
And you have to be constantly uploading things. You need to put up photos and videos like all day, every single day, in order to keep that momentum going. Have you guys seen that? Because there was this guy just a couple of weeks ago, ended up on my feed, and I know a bunch of people that follow him now, but he did the same thing these people did. He quit his job, and he's like, I'm going to do this.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to sail across the ocean.
We're really doing it, aren't we?
We're really doing it.
So this guy, he's never sailed before, but he's currently right now in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and it actually did work for him. Like, he ended up getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers.
What does
so
that?
They did work for that guy.
And you have to then comes the question: what does that translate to as far as income? What does that translate to as far as reliable income, and how much your output? How much does the work level have to skip up to keep that income?
Steve, I think about influencers the same way I think about podcasters. Like, there's a million of them. And the best ones are the ones that provide great content.
Yes.
And if they don't do it consistently, and if they don't put in the effort, it's not going to last for them for a long period of time. But I've seen a few that have found a way to, get through the noise and be noticed. And when they are, to me, it's really remarkable. And I'm talking specifically about Fit Dad CEO.
Yeah, he's great.
Dave is his name. He's local. And I started seeing his feed before I have ever had any idea that he was from our area, that he was an Eagles fan, that he's friends with Matt Rovine. You know, it was one of those things where we're like, oh, this guy's just good. And just because it was good, that started ending up in my Instagram feed. And now I'm like, oh, actually, I know this person.
So the metric that has always worked in your favor, can you deliver quality content, right?
Here's a text. It says, man, I have a friend who's been trying for like 10 years and even has a podcast. He constantly pushes his podcast, but it sucks.
There you go.
And I can't break it to him. I don't watch, but pretend to. He gets offended by it, but I don't have time, and it's not entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point exactly. Like, if you're not putting out good content, you know, people aren't going to listen. They're not going to watch, and they're certainly not going to follow you.
And now I was wondering if we'd hear from our friend Cast Iron Kyle, and he texted in, and he says, I went for it about 5 years ago. I love it, and the greatest part about it is helping people use their family heirlooms and make people laugh. So he does cast iron skillets, his specialty, and some people have them as family heirlooms. And he says, I went from 3,500 to 72,000 followers in about 3.5 years, and I'm in the 8.5 million views quarterly range. So, but I'm not sure what kind of money Kyle is making from this, and if it's become successful or not for him in that regard.
And in Preston, it seems like with Kyle, he parlayed something that he already does well. He's really good at his job, and he does these interesting things, and he was able to parlay that.
And he makes fun videos.
Yeah.
But he works at it, man. That dude puts in the hours, and
yes, he does.
And he works specifically on Instagram in order to increase his following.
Here is a text that says, my wife does stenography on TikTok and has 14,000 followers. He says she doesn't get anything from it, but she does that. And then there's one that says, I hit my first 1 million view video last week, and I'm now actively trying to really make this a thing. I don't know who that is. Maybe it was a follow-up, Nick. I'm not sure. But anyway, was that from Kyle as well? I don't know.
It might be. Listen, so I was watching, I've mentioned this before, a TED Talk from this social influencer. You had 14 million views on a single video. And when it came down to the monetary benefit to her of that, it ended up just being like a couple of grand. You know, like so that's nothing to sneeze at, but you'd figure 14 million people saw this friggin' thing, and that's all you're getting?
Yeah, if you're not doing it consistently, and and that's, Steve, is not enough to turn it into a full-time job, right? And a full-time salary. My son loves TikTok like most 18-year-old kids, and he loves the NBA. And the other day, he created a video from the Knicks-Pacers series, and it was really well done. It was really well edited. He likes making them. It's fun for him. And it ended up getting 1 million views on TikTok. And I'm like, wow, man, that's really cool. It's like, yeah, for whatever reason, this hit the algorithm,
right,
and it connected. And it ended up in my wife's feed, unbeknownst.
Right.
And so she just ended up watching it because it was something that had done well, and then the algorithm takes over.
It really, you're at the whim and the sway of that algorithm clicking in, and everyone is in pursuit of that algorithm noticing what you've done. And there are tricks and things that people will swear are guaranteed to get you that attention. And most people will admit at the end of the day, you give your best shot and hope for the best.
I'd love to hear from people who have taken a shot at it and it's just like, oh, this didn't work. I tried really hard.
It reminds me of the Albert Brooks movie Lost in America, where we're going to go off the grid.
Yeah.
We're going to get an RV. We're going to go down the open road. I mean, you hope for success. You don't want to see anybody fail, but you got to be cautious diving in.
Hey, is Fit Dad calling us right now?
I texted him to see if he was tuning in because he's been listening a lot lately.
Yeah, Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, I'm great. Just got the kids are off the door to school, so I heard my ears were buzzing. So,
well, listen, we were just talking about influencers and people take a shot at it. There was a video that Marissa saw of this couple, and they literally quit their jobs. They're going to travel. They're going to be travel influencers. They did it after 6 months. They gained 150 followers, and I don't know if they're going to hang it up now or what. But they were just showing their results and how disappointing it can be. When you started out, did it happen by accident?
yeah, I mean, I had already had my social media for a while, so I was kind of using it for businesses that I was building. And when I got sick of those, like right before COVID started, I was kind of just doing it for fun. And then I realized that there was an opportunity there when a couple of videos took off. And so it was by accident, but I kind of took the results that I got from that and started to realize, you know, where I could do better. And so it was an accident, but then I kind of took the bad results from that and made it intentional.
Let me ask you, Dave, so over just a couple of years from that first initial rush, you know, you're Jed Clampett and Crude is coming out of the hole in the ground and you're like, here we go. To now, how has it changed as far as monetary respects? You know, is it a wide sort of variation in how lucrative things can be? What is, I don't mean to pick into your finances, but how is it? How consistent? What's your take on people who are looking to get into this to make money?
So, I mean, as soon as I saw there was an opportunity there, you know, I saw it and I ran with it. But as far as the monetary part of it, it's right now where we're sitting at, the market has slowed down, and there's a couple of different factors, obviously. Companies aren't willing to pay what they were paying before. Last year was one of my biggest years as far as what I brought in. But it's almost an oversaturation of the market now. And now we have a lot of these like younger content creators that are coming in. And I don't just mean like younger age wise. I'm saying like the people who are new, who are excited, who are basically accepting anything that these brands are sending them. And it's making it hard for us, like kind of like the seasoned content creators and influencers, to argue with these companies and these brands and say, well, no, you were paying me this before. And they're going, well, we got 10 of you who is willing to take 25% of what you're making. So it's more of like you have to be able to show your value more than just like a number that they're bringing. So yeah, that's a topic that I could talk about for a couple of hours.
You're right, Dave. The industry is cannibalizing itself, and it's spreading to traditional media as well. All this stuff, all these people, all these places for advertisers to spread their money all over the place is not really helping the industry. It's kind of hurting it.
Do you know we're seeing, Dave, is we're seeing sort of a return, like, for example, in our industry, you know, people realize, listen, if you're talking about influencers, we've been on the air for years. We've never been placed in a situation where we've been, forced to advertise or endorse something. When we put our name to something and we say we're using a product, it's something we use and actually trust. So we've never been in a situation where we've compromised.
Yeah, like Blue Chew.
Yeah, all the time.
Nick has a boner. You can drive.
I'm chewing it right now.
But to that point, he's not saying I'm Nick. I use this. Yeah. So, but I mean, this is part of the deal. And so in that realm, they're seeing that advertisers are seeing there's something to be said of the relationship. You with your account, with your videos, you have a relationship with your fan base that means something. And so even though things are being diluted now with this glut, things have a tendency to recorrect. Do you feel that?
I do, and it's funny because like even just you mentioned the compromising of working with brands. My whole thing when I started taking these brand collabs was I wanted to make sure it was something that my audience actually would benefit from, or a brand that I'm actually using.
Exactly.
I just did one recently, and I must have gotten. I mean, it was just yesterday. I posted it in my Instagram stories, and people were asking me like, "Do you actually use this brand? Like, do you actually use this product?" And I'm like, and I had to make another video just telling people like I actually use this every single day. And so yeah, there's a bit of I feel like panic a little bit, especially starting the year there was, and I saw a lot of people promoting things, and I was kind of like, really? That doesn't really seem on brand for you,
right?
But it is what it is, and I try my best to try to steer clear of that, and at some point I've actually I think lost money because I'm not willing to compromise with these brands when they're saying like, we need you to say this and we need you to do this, and I'm like, that's not my style.
Right.
So if it's not going to work both ways, I will sometimes pass on a lot of this stuff, and it's losing money, but at the end of the day, it's not something that my audience is going to watch, and it's going to be a lose-lose for both of us.
Yeah, that's smart. All right, well, listen, Dave, we're going to move on to some other calls real quick. You got a dad joke before we let you go?
Oh man, I think I told one in the chat. It was what did I just say? How much does an influencer weigh?
I do not know.
An Instagram.
An Instagram.
That is a dad joke. Yeah.
All right. Dave Uggleton, thanks, man. Good to talk to you. Fit Dad CEO. We'll catch up another time. All right, thanks.
His content is always
it's great.
top level.
He's got 1.7 million followers.
And he works it, man.
Yeah. Listen, here's a text. It says, I work for a travel agency. We've worked with influencers. The last 2 times have been terrible. From my standpoint, there are so many out there who are just looking for free stuff, and they didn't hold up their end of the agreement. I'm not going to pretend it's an easy job because it's a full-time job, and I couldn't do it. And the market is inundated with so many influencers are just trying to get the views in any way possible. That's from Allie, who's checking in. So,
and there's one ineluctable fact that happens. Like, for example, I'm probably subscribed to, I'd say 380 YouTube channels.
Oh, wow.
Many of those are like, I like this subject, click subscribe, and I haven't been back ever since.
Yep.
So while you're looking, those numbers will look impressive. You only have so much time during the day.
Yeah.
I'm not rifling through all 371 accounts to see what's going on. It is a hit or miss kind of thing.
And that's why it can be tough. It's like it's the entertainment industry.
It is,
if
absolutely.
you take a shot at, going to California, living the dream the way it used to be, and most people would be sent home with carrying their bags back, and
You're
the same
exactly
thing
right.
can happen with this wild frontier.
I know the perfect
but
analogy,
you get to stay
Preston.
at home if you do it.
Perfect analogy. You think you can replace your car battery.
You think.
You have all the best intentions, and before you know it, you left the cap on.
Steve, if I learned 2 things from you early this morning is the first mistake was that you tried, and number 2, never step out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Right. Salient advice.
I'm a life coach.
Let's go to, let's see. I'm going to go to Drew, who's checking in. Hi, Drew, you're on the air. Good morning.
Quit yapping and listen.
That's really good. That sounds really good.
Excellent. Yes.
All right, what's up, Drew?
Hey, this is Drew from Deconstructed Love. I did those abstract caricatures of you guys.
Oh, we love those, man. They were great.
Here's this one.
I'm glad you guys like them. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm just calling in to share my experience because I'm not at 1 million followers, but as somebody who every day puts in the effort to just promote my work and just try new things, whether it's like influencer material or whatnot. It's just every day I'm just kind of motivated to try something new, and that's the part that I think is important. You shouldn't look at it from a monetary perspective. Like, you should look at it from, am I enjoying this?
Drew, so would you say, and we've had a number of people who've managed to really work out the percentage balance, which is you love something, you do it as it augments what you do, but it is not the focus and crux of what you do. Obviously, you're an artist, and that's your thing, but you can use them symbiotically as opposed to, I'm going to derive my entire income from this. If you go in with that as your intent, that's going to be a little bit problematic. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. You know, if your mindset from the get-go is I'm trying to make money, you're kind of running into a problem from the start because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You know, it's about, you know, it's not just about doing something that you're happy doing. It's about exploring and seeing what it is that other people enjoy seeing you do.
No, you're right.
And if you're,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right.
What I was going to say is, like, if all you're thinking about is this making me money, you're just kind of going to get frustrated all the time because, like, you're not going to pull in what you expect right away.
Right.
And if you're not willing to, you know, explore new things to try and help, you know, boost your views or likes or whatever, you know, then you're just going to, like, run into more problems and you're going to get burned out on frustration.
I wonder how many people, owing to what started all this, started with the best of intentions and did not realize how much work is involved.
Yeah.
Like you've got to, it's almost like a beast you have to feed all the time.
Yeah.
It's its own job,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, whether if you enjoy doing it in your spare time and it's just like a hobby for you, then cool. I wish you the best of luck. You know, that's a good place to be working from. But if, you know, as I said, if you're expecting so much right away, you're not gonna benefit from it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Drew. Good to talk to you, man. Appreciate it. And then
Yeah,
Marissa,
take care. Thank you.
handed me this note and says, if you influencers, listen up. If you're an Instagram influencer, tag the Preston and Steve show and we'll do a big reshare blitz supporting our local influencers.
There you go.
So tag us or make, you know, an original post that mentions us or something like that. We can do that, right?
Why the hell not?
Sure, why not?
We can do anything.
And then follow Back Friday. Let's bring that back.
Oh,
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's from 1,000 years ago.
that was Twitter, right?
That was a Twitter thing.
Yeah, I'm not
All
on
right, hang on. Let me go to, man, we got a lot of calls. We don't have much time because Steve Guttenberg is waiting. Line 2? Is that the
I was
one?
going to say this one.
Line, what is that?
Bryce.
Over here. I'm looking over here. All right, let's go to Bryce. Hi, Bryce. You're on the air, bud. Good morning.
Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks. What's up?
Hey, so I was just calling in because I know you guys were talking about the influencer stuff, and when I was like in college, we used to post TikToks all the time. I was a student athlete, so we did it to pass time. And when I was like trying to post and trying to get popular and trying to get views, I would search up like the algorithm and try to figure out the best times to post to see when it would stick to the algorithm. And I always thought it was very interesting that you can look that up. Like if you go on to like Google, you can be like, when is the best time to post on TikTok, or when is the best time to post on Instagram Reels? And the one time we did with my friend Kellen, he posted and he got like 300K views on like a football post that we did. We just ended up finding it at the right time.
So you believe it was just a question of timing when you posted that, and that's what made it click.
Yeah, and I agree with what Drew was saying earlier too, is like how like posting that stuff and like trying to get the money out of it. Like we were all broke college students, so we would just do it for fun.
Right.
But like that, my friend who got that 300K views, like he ended up making a good $100 off of it. And then, so like it's nice money for sure, but like it's not something you can live off of.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I agree with what you guys are saying.
That's a different animal.
No, you're
All
right.
Thanks, Bryce. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, and if you're banking on that, if you're like this couple that kicked off this conversation, if your idea is we're going to become influencers, we're quitting our jobs, we're going to travel and do all this, take it up for a spin for a little while first on a less expensive and less committed route.
And if it works for you, God bless you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a risk.
Like our friend Sarah Wren.
Yeah.
She's a little influencer. She's doing well. She's kind of working her way up. And
She influenced us.
That most definitely. All right. So if you are an influencer, do this. Tag us. Make an original post about the Preston and Steve show, and you're a listener or whatever, and we will do a reshare blitz supporting our local influencers. Because we wish you luck, man.
We do, yeah. It's tough.
All right, we got a break. Sorry to keep this so short, but we have to come back in a second because Steve Guttenberg is going to be joining us. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us, friend.
Preston and Steve
On the phone calls.
Do we go in depth? Do we go a current affair on this?
Well, Jared had a moment at a restaurant. Hi, Jared. Hi, Jared. You're on the air. Good morning.
You guys rock.
Thank you, man. All right. What's the incident that happened with the mayonnaise?
So I used to run a restaurant back in the day, and they were getting really behind, and it was like a grilled cheese day that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got back there, and we had like fresh churned butter, so it was like real soft. Well, I messed up, and I put mayo on all these grilled cheeses, put them down, sent them out. Well, I ended up coming back, and they were like, oh, like they were the best grilled cheese we ever had. Come to find out, I put mayo on all of them.
All of them.
So that actually became our biggest seller.
So that was your signature grilled cheese sandwich was prepared with mayo. To your own personal taste, do you like it better?
I wouldn't say it's better, but it gives it a bite. Like you use it with like Cooper Sharp cheese, like it's completely different.
Huh.
So like we did a different thing. We actually did a condiment grilled cheese. So if you wanted mustard on it, we actually did mustard on the grill, and that hardens up real nice. It gets a real a real crispy bite.
On the outside of it, you did mustard and then grilled it?
Yep. And it
Wow.
actually comes out really good.
Cray.
All right. Interesting.
I'm concerned now about the number of restaurants that are bringing sandwiches like this to us.
Yes. Yeah.
And what that will do.
We need to spread it out.
Too many.
We need, really.
All right, so Steven actually sent me a few grilled cheese from Food Network, grilled cheese recipes, and there's a few of them here that I've done before and like to have from time to time. Grilled tomato and cheese, I think, is a great
That's
one.
a standard, and I do love that one.
Well, now the tomato's taking top billing there, Preston.
No, it's not.
You said grilled
Well,
tomato
you're
and
right.
cheese.
It says grilled tomato and cheese.
I would say grilled
call it a
cheese
grilled
and
cheese
tomato.
with tomato.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There is a grilled cheese with bacon. You can put it on there.
And that's grilled cheese with bacon.
Which is awesome. Cheddar and apple grilled cheese.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you ever
Bacon.
have like apple slices and cheese together, that's, or fruit and cheese, that can work
Makes
out
it
nicely.
healthy.
Mm-hmm.
A sandwich you can eat on the run.
Smoked Gouda and roasted red pepper grilled cheese.
Do I like Gouda?
I like
you do.
Gouda, yeah.
You like Gouda a lot.
All right.
You'll find good Gouda? Abu Dhabi.
I have a story in the bizarre file with Abu Dhabi coming up in a
I'm
little while.
thinking a grilled brie.
Yeah.
Would be yummy.
I've had it.
A grilled ham and brie.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
On a baguette.
Oh my God!
So good.
Nick, my wife makes a it's an app she'll put out at parties, but it's brie and it's grilled in or it's baked in like a challah.
Like a baked brie?
Yeah.
And it gets all runny
And
and
there's a
gooey.
little bit of raspberry or something too.
Yeah, but
It's-
you know what, Steve? It's got that protective shell on the outside.
and it gives it cohesion.
God bless that shell.
Hang on a second here. Let me go to Garrett has a recipe. Hi, Garrett. Good morning.
Yo, good morning. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
Nah, brother. What's up?
Yeah, so check it out. So a couple years ago, I was getting creative in the kitchen, and I was making a grilled cheese, and I was like, you know what, I want to get a little creative here. So I scratched the cheese entirely, and I had some leftover buffalo chicken dip from the football game before, and I spread that on there, just made it like a normal grilled cheese. Actually, the same way Casey does. Like I take the slab of butter, throw it down, then I kind of like mush it around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like swirl it around. But dude, I'm telling you, that is a banging sandwich.
So
I love buffalo.
I guess buffalo chicken dip has cream cheese in it, so that's technically in the cheese family.
Well, we throw some cheddar cheese in our buffalo chicken dip too, so it kind of
Okay.
we get in there.
Speaking as someone who has
Interesting. Thank you,
now
Garrett.
about 160 packets of Star-Kissed buffalo, I love that
Buffalo tuna?
But the buffalo tuna is great. The buffalo dip in
buffalo dip. I'm
every
sorry.
application, that
Yeah.
buffalo flavor, whatever
Yeah.
it is. You said it has cream cheese in it. I didn't know that.
The dips usually
Okay,
do.
yeah, delicious.
I will say that Panera, they sometimes can hit or miss on some of their things, but consistently their tomato soup and their grilled cheese is good.
So
I agree.
What's the news? What's the new sandwich that they're
The Panera?
They mentioned a type of pepper. It's like a
Freshy pepper?
It's you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen the thing?
Is
For
it
this
like-
new-
like-
it's like a new like a Mediterranean.
You know what, Steve? They should probably send us samples.
I'm intrigued.
Yes,
Is it,
it's a new thing that they're pushing.
Wouldn't
and
be
it's
a
got
poblano pepper, would it?
no. I don't know, but it is a red pepper that apparently has this incredibly exotic, wonderful taste.
Okay, wait, like a vegetable or like the crushed red pepper?
A vegetable.
No, like a vegetable pepper.
Side note, stuffed peppers. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah,
Like you
well,
put
we should
sausage
have
in
a
there.
restaurant and call it Sergeant Pepper.
Well, listen, it's sort of offensive that you bring it up on Grilled Cheese Day.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean,
I said side note.
Stay in your lane, buddy. All right, roasted poblano and mushroom grilled cheese.
No poblano.
I like a poblano.
I do like poblano.
I like it the poblano.
I like saying poblano. Fun syllables.
I come from the
what
village of Poblano.
Do you know what a smoked poblano is? An ancho chili.
Oh.
If you ever see ancho chili.
I don't know why I
Ancho
reacted
cheese.
like that, yeah.
I believe so.
And ancho cheese.
Wait, so it's the same thing?
It's the same thing, but it's smoked. It's prepared differently, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Here, this one sounds interesting. Grilled cheese with everything bagel seasoning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, in or on?
Don't know. I would have to click on the recipe, and it would take me off of this.
Right.
This is just the names of them.
I think at Trader Joe's you can get the seasoning that's just called everything but the bagel.
Yep.
And it's terrific.
Yes, I agree.
But one of the best, so there was maybe you've had it as well, Nick, over at Harvest. They would do like a cedar plank salmon, but it would be crusted with the everything bagel crust.
I love a crust.
Oh, yeah.
Grilled cheese.
Look at me bringing that up on Grilled Cheese Day.
Yeah. Spicy grilled cheese.
Okay.
So you can use, like a jalapeno
or pepper
cheddar,
jack or something.
pepper jack, yeah.
No, but I'll do like a diced jalapeno.
Okay.
We actually, oh, God, never mind. Sorry. I was doing the Casey thing, and I'm not going to do it now.
You were going to go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Okay.
My refrigerator's
Well,
blue.
now I'm intrigued.
Okay. Well, good. Because this is, my wife made hash brown casserole last night for dinner.
This is a recipe that we shared with Casey's family. And,
And it's
in love with it.
amazing. And I was really digging it. And I thought, ooh, you know what would be really great in this? Diced jalapenos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
I agree.
I did not, but I put some hot sauce in it.
Is there cheese in there?
Banditos. What's that?
Is there cheese in that
Oh,
recipe?
yeah. Yeah,
All right,
cheese
so like
and-
it's a part of this conversation by default.
Here's another recipe. Brussels sprouts and bacon grilled cheese. Maybe. I don't know.
You know what I do love though?
I like Brussels sprouts.
I love baked Brussels sprouts.
And bacon or pancetta with Brussels sprouts is usually quite lovely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And all of you will be farting in about a half hour.
Hang on. Let me go to, let's see, where was it? Yeah, let me go to Doug because he's got a technique. It's National Grilled Cheese Day, by the way. We usually don't talk about the national food days, but I mean, it's grilled cheese. Hey, Doug, you're on the air. Good morning.
Morning.
What's up, bud?
All right, so I started making this when I was working at a fresh restaurant. Because I couldn't get to the burner. So
Was it a fresh restaurant or a French
restaurant?
Okay.
French restaurant.
There we go.
That's hard to say.
The Fresh Restaurant of Bel Air.
All right. But so I couldn't get to the cooktops, and I was in charge of the broiler. So you butter the bread, you stick it in, butter side up, and you grill it till it's golden brown.
Okay.
And you flip it over, you put your cheese on, and you heat it until it's bubbling and starting to turn brown.
So he's saying
In the oven.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, then you put it together. But lately I've been, so as that's working in the oven, I'll cook a couple of slices of pancetta, and if I use Swiss extra sharp cheese, you put them together, so you have the sharpness of the cheese, and then you have the saltiness of the pancetta. It's awesome.
I hate
I'm digging
Swiss
it.
cheese so much.
Okay.
I hate it with a
But
white
it's
hot
a nice,
passion.
it's a nice crispy, you know. And
All right. I like
All right.
that, Doug.
All
I'll
right,
try
cool.
that technique, the oven technique. Thank you. So you hate Swiss cheese?
I hate Swiss cheese
I love
almost as much as I hate sharks.
I love Swiss cheese. In fact, I'll go to the finest fresh restaurant in town. No, I've had a grilled Swiss cheese sandwich. It ain't bad.
Yeah, if you do Swiss and cheddar together, I think it's great.
It's
And
fine.
I think a three cheese mix is pretty awesome. I did not know
throuple.
that about you about Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
Wow.
just,
ham and Swiss is that's a standard.
Really?
Gross, yeah.
Turkey and Swiss. I love a good Swiss.
My Andrea hates it too. She can't stand Swiss cheese, and I get in trouble sometimes for bringing it home. I'm like, no, I love Swiss cheese.
Sometimes I feel.
Did you bring Swiss home again?
Yeah, because she feels like because she's such a cheese lover.
Yeah.
which I find
Cheese
interesting.
lover.
Well, she loves all cheeses except Swiss. And
That
I'm
seems
like,
sort of arbitrary.
You're kind of missing out.
Not everything in the fridge has to be for you. I get mad at my wife for putting White Claw in the fridge. I'm like, God damn it.
One more quick call. We're going to have to take a break because we have guests lining up. So I'm going to go to Alicia. Hi, Alicia. Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
It's okay.
We're happy to have you, Alicia. What's up?
Thanks. So I own a restaurant in Chalfont called Ember Smokehouse and Tap.
Okay.
And we have a 3x3 grilled cheese.
I don't
And
believe you
know-
unless you bring it here right now.
I will bring it there.
Go ahead.
I will bring it to you guys.
Go-
And the Brussels sprouts, we have Brussels sprouts. I can bring those too.
Explain your sandwich fully. What is your premium grilled cheese sandwich?
So it's a 3x3 grilled cheese. So it's got 3 different kinds of cheeses. And then I know the meat gets top billing on this, but it has pulled pork, bacon, and pork belly. And we serve it with a tomato bisque.
Could you call that though, Preston? Would you call that a grilled cheese sandwich, or would you call that a?
I'd call it
So here's the
a
loophole.
pork sandwich with cheese on it. Yeah.
Here's the loophole. We don't call it a grilled cheese, but it has grilled cheese. And the loophole is that it's a 3x3. So you can say that the 3 cheeses is first, or you can say that the 3 porks are first.
All right. So you're looking for wiggle room. It sounds delicious.
I think you're a little over the boundary, but I mean, I'm sure it's a
You should probably try
fantastic.
it.
I should probably try it.
Not on National Grilled Cheese Day.
I'm sure it's a fantastic sandwich. Well, interesting. All right. Well, thank you, Alicia. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take
very
care.
cool.
All right. By the way, Bon Appetit's best ever grilled cheese. And then we got to take a break. Marissa just brought this to me.
What is it?
It's Bon Appetit's best ever grilled cheese. Butter goes in the pan, not on the bread.
Chicken in the bread pan.
To ensure golden, not burned toastiness, the exterior of the sandwich should be slicked with mayo, which has a higher smoke point than butter and possesses the combined browning power of oil and egg yolks.
So now I absolutely have to try the mayo grilled
It says,
cheese.
when mayo slicked bread. Now it's saying you don't cake it with
Right.
mayonnaise.
All right.
You just put a little bit on there and then you put
monster.
it on the butter. And when the mayo slicked bread meets buttered pan, that's when the magic truly begins.
Interesting.
Opting for a cheese that melts well is paramount. American is the meltiest cheese there is. But a young cheddar cheese works well too and brings deeper flavor. If you want to go off script, stick to a soft or semi-soft cheese. Their high moisture content means that they're especially adept at turning molten. Once the sandwich is in the pan, pressing down with a spatula is helpful for achieving even toasting and for encouraging bread and cheese to meld together, but don't be overzealous. This is not a smashed cheese sandwich.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Marissa. We're waiting for a check-in from Steve Guttenberg. Haven't heard anything as of yet, so we'll hang tight a moment. I did have a couple of things. I told you I was backed up on shards.
All right.
So I have shards and butt plugs. So step right up, everybody.
Like any good show.
We got something for everyone. I got this from Tom Dakota, also known as El Padre. And he wants me to send a bubbly shard out to YouTuber Wisco Girl 90 for publishing her first book.
Oh.
It's called Pirate's Daughter, A Shattered Realm. And he said, I barely have the capacity to finish reading an entire book, let alone write one. So I wanted to send her a shard out for this amazing accomplishment. If you or any of the listeners are interested, the book is being released on July 1st. Thank you so much and rage on. So here is a shard.
That's great, man.
And she's one of our treasured YouTubers.
I just looked it up on it's available on BarnesandNoble.com. The Pirate's Daughter, A Shattered Realm, paperback for only $14.99. So do a quick Google search and you can get it yourself.
And
like a
cool looking
fantasy
artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks kind of spacey and piratey, Steve.
Oh, I like spacey and piratey.
And actually, she herself had emailed and she wanted to get a shard out for herself. Well, we're not going to do that because you got one already for you. But I'm saying she doesn't need to do it for herself.
She doesn't need to do it for
People
herself.
are throwing her love anyway.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
but she did say in her email that she says, as an adult with an intellectual disability, I never thought that I would be able to self-publish my own work to be an indie author. So we're very, very proud of you, Wisco Girl.
Absolutely.
All right. And yeah, that's awesome.
No,
And-
it's a huge undertaking.
and how supportive that YouTube community is a wonderful thing. All right, I got this as well. This is from Keith Conley. He says, hey, the reason I'm reaching out is to see if there is any way You guys can help me get eyes on a GoFundMe for my stepdaughter's best friend, Steph DeGarmo. Over the weekend, Steph lost her brother suddenly.
Oh, my God.
He was the main provider and caretaker for her and her disabled mother. And now at 22, his share of the responsibilities all will fall on her. She's a great girl with a really good heart, but she is really struggling. We're doing what we can to help her out, but unfortunately, it's not nearly enough. I've never really gotten directly involved with anything like this, so I'm not sure what their show's policy is when it comes to these type of things. So if it's possible that there's a way to share the link to the community page or any possible social media, that would be amazing. I would totally understand if you can't, because you get requests all the time. Either way, I thank you for your time and appreciate you all. Have a good flight, Keith Conley, he says. But yeah, that's got to be hard, man. Now at 22, she's going to have to handle taking care of the mom and handle all the financial responsibility. So do we have that up, Nick?
Yeah, Keith emailed me as well. So it's on the community page of PrestonandSteve.com.
All right. Here's another one. It says, I was hoping I could get a shout out from my pal, Ayulanda. Ayulanda S. She is a... Oh.
Now Yolanda.
Now Yolanda. She's a local indie author specializing in spicy smut books.
What?
Oh. Her first novella, we have all these authors, is called The Astor Affair, and she's doing her first signing ever in Atlantic City on June 14th at the Convention Center. Tickets are on Eventbrite. It's called the Aces Wild Author Reader Event.
What could we possibly offer authors to listen to?
She'll be there with dozens of other authors as well, and I couldn't be more proud of her. So Chloe wants a shout out to Yolanda. Thank you.
Yolanda.
Yolanda. That's it. I'm sorry, Yolanda. I got that wrong. Yolanda. All right, and then I guess... We're not getting Guttenberg?
I'm trying to find out.
All right, we'll move on to something else.
This whole new phone. Oh, wait. Somebody's calling.
This could be the man of the hour.
All right, we'll say.
Or at least this hour.
And while Marissa's trying to handle that, I'll mention this one last butt plug. This is from Bill Meekum, who says, Dogberry Yoga, with assistance from Gym Rat Yoga and VP Fitness, are hosting a yoga event to benefit the Rancocas Creek Farm on June 21st at 9 a.m. I'm requesting a butt plug. No, there is no yoga pose by that name, he says. Would that be great, though?
That would be wild.
Now everyone, the butt plug.
Yeah. Downward butt plug.
The Meditate and Pollinate event includes a full 1 hour, all levels, slow flow vinyasa yoga class.
Sounds wild.
At Rancocas Creek Farm Tour. And the class is held on the grounds of Rancocas Creek Farm, located in the home of the nonprofit Pinelands Preservation Alliance. So they are raising funds for that. And it says here that you will enjoy fresh air, farm breezes, while being protected from the sun in the open air tent next to a gorgeous renovated dairy barn with various cuts made by various government local farms could use assistance. So that is from Bill, and wanted to pass that along. Dogberry Yoga. So there you go. And there is your plug.
You've cleaned out a lot.
He's on the line. Hey. Yeah. Oh, man. Boy, he's not playing a character like that, Mahoney in this one. This is a scary-looking show.
Yeah, it's based on a real story, too.
Yeah, it's called Kidnapped by a Killer, the Heather Robinson story. And, man, did they do a physical transformation for him in this. Please welcome the one and only Mr. Steve Guttenberg to our program. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. I thought you were going to have 100 people there with an audience clapping. It sounded like only 20.
No.
I promised 100.
It's just a handful, but we project, so it's what you're hearing. Preston was mentioning, and we kind of amazed at, this is a real person, a reprehensible person that you're playing, John Robinson, and a serial killer, and kidnapped the baby of the woman that he killed, and then, led to her believing that he was her legitimate uncle. I'll let you handle the rest of that. But I was just immediately blown away. We both were, about how physically you're hunched over. You look nothing like we've seen you before in a role that's really nothing like we've seen you before in. So while you're playing a reprehensible, human filth like this guy, is it still, as an actor, something that's very exhilarating?
Well, I'm so appreciative to Lifetime and my managers and agents that believed in me that I could play this role. I played villains before, Ballers and and actually Veronica Mars. But this, playing a serial killer, you usually only play one in your career. And if you're lucky to get a part like this. And playing John Edward Robinson was just such a high for me. The research on him was just disgusting. I had to, after about 2 hours of watching videos and reading about what his actions were, I had to take a break because this guy was a really heinous human being. But the playing of him was thrilling. I had a great makeup team and hair team. We did an hour and a half of makeup every day. I gained a ton of weight for the part. We changed his skin. He had eczema. And I learned I wanted to get a new walk for him and a posture for him. And I started thinking about what would somebody who was so horrible, what would his physicality be? Right. That he had to be so disfigured. This is a disfigured person. So this disfigurement, I wanted to be in his outward physicality. So it was terrific. It was terrific to play him, and of course, it's a true story. Yeah. And it's a horrible person. So I was thrilled to play it, and it's a great part for me.
Steve, I'll give the thumbnail version of the story, and if you need to fill any blanks, please do so. So this gentleman kills a young woman, takes her baby, manages to convince the authorities to have this child, I guess, be accepted and adopted by his own brother, which is then she's raised and is led to believe that you, the killer, your character, the killer, is her actual uncle. And did I get all those details right?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And so
it's unbelievable.
At some point, as she ages and this clears things up, he goes to jail, and she realizes this. At what point, where in the story does this go? Because we see her grow to adulthood in the trailer and everything.
Yeah, she's about 15, 17 years old when she finds out that her mother and father aren't her mother and father. And then she finds out that her uncle is a serial killer. And it's a horrible... It's such a story of resilience for Heather Robinson that I'm so astounded by her, and I admire her that she's gone on and built a life for herself. But it was very, very it was very disconcerting, of course, to know that this is what happened to this poor woman. But it made for a really interesting story. And I think that the audience is going to love it. The trailer is outstanding, and the movie itself is terrific.
Well, listen, if we're
in that sort of subject matter.
Yeah, listen, we're drawn to these things, these true crime. It's just
People
something.
Love murder.
They do.
Murder.
They do. But the truth of the matter,
murder.
They do love murder. The truth is,
murder.
More murder.
They love it. People. Let me tell you something about people. My dad used to say, when someone is a jerk, they believe them people believe them right away. Oh, he's a total jerk. I met him for 3 minutes. He's a complete jerk. And I know all about him. He's a total, and I was going to use a terrible word.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
Yeah.
But when you're a nice person, people don't believe it. Can he really be that nice? Is he that nice? I don't believe that he's really that nice. I actually don't think. But if you're a jerk, I believe him right away. That guy is a jerk. At least he's honest about it. Yeah, at least he's honest. Yeah. So people love terrible people. Nice people on television are kind of boring.
Yeah.
But you get a murderer. And Tony Hopkins kills people. It's fantastic.
It is something we're drawn to.
Give me more. I want to see that movie. Give me that.
Let me ask you:
Wonderful Life is on TV?
Let me ask you, as you're learning this character,
does Jimmy Stewart murder? No.
As you're learning this character and finding out about him, and you Because it's twofold. You want to have accuracy to a lot of the story, but it is a movie, and so you kind of have to find your way to play this guy. And you're trained as an actor, but to me that would seem almost really hard to. You don't want to find if you could find humanity in a character like this, or how do you approach that? How do you see a character like this?
Well, I did my research, and the research was just so painful. As I said, it takes after a couple of hours, I had to take a break each time because he was so heinous. But playing him was exciting, and not exhausting at all.
Yeah.
It was, I kind of look at it as like an architect who usually builds nursery schools, and and then now he has to build a prison. At first, doing the research on it, it's a terrible place. But then it comes down to concrete and metal.
Yeah.
We have to build these buildings. Same thing with the part. I had to create the part, and I had great makeup and director and wardrobe and tons of people helping me. So it worked out great.
All right, a real quick question. I know obviously this premieres on Saturday, June 7th, so we're going to see this on Lifetime Network and very much looking forward to. I want to segue over to something else we saw on your Instagram account. Not that long ago, you were walking through Center City, Philadelphia, and what were you doing in town, Steve?
Yeah, I was in Philadelphia for a Comic-Con, and I really enjoyed it for a show, and I really enjoyed myself there. I love Philadelphia. My nephew actually goes. I was there also to see my nephew. My nephew works. My nephew Jack Lynch, who was his birthday yesterday.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Jack Lynch. And I had dinner with him and his girlfriend, Sarah, one night. That night, so it was a really great reason to be in town. I get to see him and his girlfriend.
Nice, excellent.
You're living in New York right now?
I'm living in New York now, right? Yeah, exactly. I have a house in Pacific Palisades, but we got severely damaged by the fire.
Right.
Yeah, we were watching you in those videos, trying to clear the streets. That was pretty amazing.
Oh, thanks. I just happened to be there at the beginning of the fire, and I couldn't leave.
No, you got a lot of good karma points. Wherever karma points are reckoned, you've got a nice stash.
Yeah.
Thanks. I hope so.
Well, listen, Steve, we're looking forward to this. Like I said, this looks really, really compelling. I was not familiar with the story, and it looks like you're really bringing some, a wild presentation to this horrible character, and we can't wait to see it. So it's going to be on Saturday, 8 p.m. on Lifetime Network. But it's great to talk to you, and thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You got to take care of yourself. Steve Guttenberg, gang. And so, as Steve was saying at the top, you should see, when you watch the trailer for this, you're like, I wouldn't have pegged that was him.
No,
There's no way.
Yeah. Totally different.
Yeah, so it's messed up. All right, anyway. Let me see.
What you got?
Something else I was going to mention. With the warmer temperatures and it actually feeling like summer.
Yes.
This week.
And you're wearing shorts today.
I joined the Shorts at Work Club today officially. Nice. This day, June 3rd, was the first day. I wrestled with it a couple times, but it was still just a little bit on the chilly side. So, but you and Casey have done it. Nick, have you worn shorts at work?
I have, but today I made the mistake of going jeans. But I am looking forward to. I'm going to cut the grass today because it's going to get so hot and gross the rest of the week. I'm going to get it done before it just gets nasty out.
Well, I saw this article about the headline was "How to Give Your Kids an Old School Summer in 2025."
Oh, this is interesting.
Can I ask?
Step one: get kids.
Yeah.
Is camp involved on this list?
No, it's more at home.
Okay.
But there is one thing that says camping in the backyard.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I did that as a kid.
I did too.
We got, but the first tent that we got, my dad, God bless him, miss him dearly. He spent the night out in the tent with us, the quote unquote night.
Oh man,
in an old style pup tent, and we were about, I'd say, a good 70 feet from the back door.
Yep.
And so we were really roughing it.
I was just saying that nobody camps in their backyards anymore. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I have a few friends that have done it. done with their kids recently over the last few years.
A few years ago, we did it.
Yeah.
Like little kids, are you
Yeah,
talking?
yeah.
No, I'm talking about like high school kids. Like
Oh.
when we were in high school, we used to camp out in the backyard all the time.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, and then just go wreak havoc on the neighborhood and stuff. The best is we were camping in my backyard, and my cat was an outdoor cat. My buddy Brian. He was leaning against the wall of the tent.
I know what's going to happen.
And the cat just sees the wall moving, and we don't know that the cat's out there. And just all of a sudden, you just and you see my buddy get attacked, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?"
He's getting pounced on from the outside the tent. He's attacking his head or whatever. Yep, that'll happen. So Southern Living editors and fans said that they have some ideas on how to create the old school feeling this year.
Should we camp in the studio?
Oh, sure.
We could set up a tent.
I got
the whole
tents.
thing. Yeah.
Bring them in and
Campfire?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about a fire.
Oh, they'd love that. Rodney would love that.
But here are some suggestions. If you have anyone you want to add, let me know. It says chasing down the ice cream truck.
We weren't allowed to have the ice cream truck was banned in my neighborhood.
Why?
I guess a couple of parents didn't like their kids asking them to buy ice cream on it.
And so they actually went and spoke to the ice cream company and said, "Don't drive down our street."
You're not allowed down here.
No,
You're not allowed down
No, unless
here.
you take a consensus amongst. You can't just work unilaterally to get rid of the ice cream man. We had Mr. Softy, we had Bungalow Bar, we had Good Humor, we had a whole
Jack
bunch of
and
them
Jill.
come through. We friggin' loved them.
Yeah, at one point, Press, the ice cream truck drove through. We were buying ice cream, and the lady she came out and started yelling at the ice cream truck, telling him to get out and never come back. Yeah.
Get.
We had an ice cream truck that came to our pool. Like we didn't have a pool growing up, but we belonged to the Y, and there was the Great Valley YMCA, and the smart guy that ran that ice cream truck would park in the parking lot. The kids would come running out. That to me, core childhood memories. I loved doing that. And I actually was thinking, I was talking to my wife about it and my son recently about joining a pool club. There's not a lot of them around, and they're not cheap. But I don't have a pool, and I would love to go to a pool more often in the summertime.
Conestoga's right around the corner from you.
All right, is that on 320?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So she drove past that a week or two ago. There's also one, Casey, called Martin's Dam.
Yep.
That's sort of down towards King of Prussia. And they both look really nice. I went to Martin's Dam when I was a kid. A lot of people from my high school went there, but I've not been to the Conestoga one.
By the way, speaking of the ice cream truck, so we very rarely in our neighborhood would have the ice cream truck. I mean, now, currently.
Oh, really?
The
Well,
neighborhood I
yeah.
live in. But
Do you have a lot of kids?
Once we moved down the shore, 5-6 times a day.
Yes,
maybe
for sure.
7 or 8 times
Yeah,
a day.
yeah.
Honestly, it's all day long. So
And how many times do you avail yourself?
Not that much anymore.
Okay,
At
all right.
first,
Yeah.
a couple times a day.
There's the one truck that you call and they come, right?
Yeah,
Big Top Surfing Sunday. They've been at Camp Out for Hunger for food trucks and fireworks. And Monster Cone is another great one. All right, so here are other things that you can do to give kids an old school summer. Make homemade treats.
Yay! We're making homemade treats.
It says...
Oh, man, we did it all the time.
All right, give us an example. Homemade treat.
Frozen, popsicles. Like my mom would make apple juice popsicles, orange juice popsicles. She'd add a little bit of sugar. My mom's a great cook. And
Would you do Kool-Aid?
No, we didn't. We weren't allowed Kool-Aid in the house, Steve. So it had to have some like kind of natural ingredients, but she would sweeten them up.
Okay. It's interesting, the not allowed stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Not allowed. They don't allow the ice cream truck down your street. You're not allowed Kool-Aid in your house.
You can imagine when the first videos we rented as kids, as young men, were Deep Throat and Jaws. There was not a lot we weren't allowed.
Right. Yeah. It says dust off the ice cream maker, find a freezer popsicle tray, and teach the kids how it's done.
By the way, getting an ice cream maker, we just got one, for the holiday season for Christmas. And man, that is great. Creamy, damn good ice cream.
But it sits in the closet. That's one of those things where you get it and you love it. No, I know what you're going to say, Preston. Like, they're fantastic. You just don't use them enough.
No, what I was going to say is, Nick, sometimes you make a batch and you eat some of it and you put it in the freezer and then that sits in the freezer for a long time.
Oh, right.
And you kind of forget about that too. But no, the ice cream is excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. Homemade ice cream, I think. All right, here's another one. Running through the sprinkler.
Hey, we're running through the sprinkler.
Man, my neighbors had the coolest sprinkler. It was like a little clown head, and it had like a little top hat, and the sprinkler would make the top hat go off.
Yeah.
That's from Mrs. Clown, right?
So we're running through the sprinkler. Steve, what are you doing over there?
Clown head.
Yeah. You get clown head?
Yeah, that's why there's makeup all over my pelvis. We used to have, because we didn't have a pool. My one neighbor got the pool, and then my friend Brian, and he was besieged by friends, and everyone was showing up with flippers on at the door. What do you want to do today? So what we did have is we had the slip and slide and the water weenie, which we loved. You guys had the water weenie?
Yeah.
It was just flopping around a big old weenie.
By the way, the other day at Costco, and they had this hanging from the ceiling. They had a big-ass inflatable slip and slide, essentially.
I wasn't allowed to get it.
It looked awesome. They needed a lot of room to do it, but it was pretty damn cool. Marissa, you're kind of nodding. Is that you've done that or you want one?
No, I saw a video the other day that was like when your wife sends you to Costco, and it was just that dude had set it up to connect to his pool.
Yeah.
And he did a running start and just ran across that slip and slide right into the pool.
So
really awesome.
Slip and slides, man.
Yeah, that one is good because it's inflatable. So the last time I slid, it was at TH Properties. We did the live broadcast.
Yeah,
and
it's been that long.
And I hit my thigh on a rock.
Yeah, man, there's no cushion.
And I had a gigantic bruise on my thigh.
So that's why this one from Costco has like the fan in it. It's inflatable. But if you have a steep hill to do this on,
you'd fly.
That's bad.
You'd fly.
Our old neighbors, I told you about our neighbors, we used to live in a flag lot, and the ones behind us, they had a very steep, big drop off in the front.
Nice.
Of there, and once a year they would take this huge plastic tarp and put it. I mean, it was gigantic, and they wouldn't just wet it down. They would put like soap on it.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Really make it slick, and that thing was bad. It was almost a death trap.
Weren't they supposed to do the world's largest slip and slide here? And then it never happened?
And then they aborted that. We were very much looking forward to that. It was going to be in the...
I think it was going to be down the Parkway.
Down
or
the
something
Parkway,
like that.
yeah.
All right. Here's another one to make it feel like old school summer. Washing the cars in the driveway.
Yay, we're washing the cars in the driveway.
I like doing that too. I get enjoyment
Hey,
out
we're
of it.
mowing the lawn.
Dude, Steve, after I mow the lawn.
Hey, this is just work.
Mow the lawn, then wash the car. That's hose yourself off.
Hey,
We're painting the house.
We're cleaning our rooms and vacuuming.
That's a good summer day.
What the hell's going on?
You're scooping out the gutters.
Hey, we're making phones for Apple.
We're weeding.
Hey, we're sweating in this shop. What's going on?
So it says it's literally good, clean, fun, and while the little ones might complain about it having to do work, they'll probably enjoy it more than you think. As a kid, I liked doing it, washing the car. It was fun.
Any chance to break out the hoses and have,
I
water
still
fight?
like to do it.
I still do, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
by
do
the
that
way,
thing where you hold your chest up to the window and press it?
only if somebody's on the inside of the car. I actually taught my kids a game that we made up when we were kids yesterday.
Change the battery?
It changed the battery. No, after I got done changing the battery, I celebrated. No, we played slam ball, and it's
Slam ball?
Slam ball.
Yeah.
It's just basically baseball or wiffle ball, but instead you use a tennis ball and a tennis racket.
Oh.
And
God,
it
you
was
could hit that a mile. Did you have a field?
Yeah, so when growing up, the street was lined with trees. So
You had an inflatable field.
Even if you hit it really, really far, it would eventually hit the trees, and that was part of the game. Was trying to catch it as it was like bouncing through.
Yeah,
the
that's
branches.
standard slam ball rules.
Yeah, standard.
Must have a robust tree line.
Yeah, but you have to keep it. The ball has to stay in the street.
Right.
If it lands on the sidewalk or the curb or whatever, it's a foul ball. And yeah.
We used to play just vacant lot baseball all the time. Where I grew up, there were still vacant lots that were parcels that the neighborhood hadn't expanded, and we would just meet you in the vacant lot. We'll meet in the lot. It was like Sandlot.
Yeah, it's funny.
Regular baseball.
Did you have a decent sized yard in your house that you spent the most time in as a kid?
It's okay.
Okay.
Not giant, but decent size, yeah.
We had a decent sized yard, and many was the time we'd be out in the friggin' street.
Yeah.
Right. We're in Brooklyn or something. Yeah. But you gravitate towards the street, especially for street hockey and things like that. Always great stick ball.
Other things that you can do for old school summer, it says throwing water balloons.
Yay!
Another way to cool off on a hot day. Water balloon fights are a staple of good old school summers. And now you can buy those sets where you put the hose on, turn it on, and it fills up like 20 of them in one shot.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's how you do it, because the biggest pain in the ass about water balloons was filling those suckers up.
Do you know it's been a real revelation of the electric squirt guns? I've got 2 that are like machine gun level squirt guns.
Jimmy's got a couple of senior assassins.
They're great. They just suck up the water. You have a bucket. And and their accuracy, they're pretty damn good.
Here's another old school summer activity: catching bugs.
Yay! We're catching bugs.
Yeah.
I had my butterfly stage and my lightning bug stage.
Yeah, definitely lightning bugs and caterpillars. I don't know if I caught any other.
Small children.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. I mean, we would, other critters out there like frogs and worms and stuff like that.
Otters.
We would definitely catch. But I'm glad you guys said lightning bugs because that's what I grew up calling them. Some people use fireflies. I think firefly is a cool name. But lightning bugs were always just what we
that's and they were always amazing, and I felt bad for the butterflies, so I let them go pretty quickly.
Yeah, we murdered so many lightning bugs.
I know
we did. I mean, that's
you take that phosphorescent glowing stuff and
no, we hit them with wiffle ball bats. We would wait for the sun to go down, and it would be dark, and we would just go hunt lightning bugs. I probably have murdered hundreds.
It's a game.
Yeah.
That's a really not a healthy game. For you or for the lightning bugs for that matter. But yeah, Casey would knock them out of the sky and then,
we do the same
hunting
thing,
them.
Except with senior citizens.
Okay. To see one walking by.
Wiffle ball bat.
Wiffle ball bat.
It had the time.
You could also
Why? They're pretty frail.
You could use a tennis racket if need be.
Wait, why?
Why are you doing that?
You lived this long to now deal with all this?
I fought an NGO.
All right, lightning bugs. Are they always green? The little light?
I think it's yellow.
I think it's yellow as well. You probably have a defective one.
Well, listen, it's
like a tennis ball.
It's a tennis ball. Tennis balls, some people look at it and say it's yellow. Other people look at it and say it's green. I say it's yellow.
I say yellow.
Yeah. But yeah, in case they don't flash other colors.
All right.
There's not.
They will
cool
spell
green,
out your
red,
name if you
blue or anything like that. I told you guys we had our friends from Sweden over. We had a bunch of young guys in their young 20s.
Right.
And we were sitting around our fire pit in the back, and Axel, this one, he's like, what is that over there? And we're like, oh, those are lightning bugs. He's like, oh, I have heard of these before.
No.
I've never seen them. He was like freaking out. I was like, yeah, they're pretty cool. And I still, when you see a big field of them, that is pretty
beautiful.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I love that when it happens. It's got to be the right conditions. All right, here's another old school thing you can do for summer, setting up a lemonade stand. I've already seen a few of those pop up, and I always have to stop.
You have to.
Yeah.
When kids do that, I find it adorable.
I'll take a sip of it, and I'm like, that's tasty.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
It's like way too sugary, but I always.
So what we
float 'em a
do
few bucks.
lemonade or a gyro stand?
Gyro?
Yeah.
We actually shave the meat and everything? Wow.
Yeah.
It says, in the right location with enough customers, this could make your kids some extra spending money, turn it into a teaching moment, and let them figure out the cost of the supplies and how much they profit. But every now and then, if they're sitting out there with like candy bars and stuff, they're all melted and squishy by the time you get them.
It's such an adorable thing, though. I always go and, even if I don't eat the stuff or just, support it. It's so cute.
Yeah. All right. And then the last, we already said camping in the backyard. And then the last thing on this list is building a fort.
Hey, we're building a fort.
For an old school summer. So
did you ever build a real deal like a tree fort?
Well, we talked about making tree houses not that long ago.
Right,
yes.
right.
Yeah, we did. But, I mean, you needed 3 trees together, and you'd take 2x4s and make a triangle and then do slats across them. Yeah.
I just want to take this time to apologize to all of my neighbors growing up because I was a little hellion. But one of the things that I loved doing, especially when I was like young high school age, pool hopping. I loved it.
You did that? I never did it.
Yeah, we did it all the time. Yeah.
If a kid did it to you now, what would your reaction be?
I would have to
shotgun.
I honestly would have to talk myself off the ledge, Nick. There are
You'd be angry?
Yeah. But I would go, okay, hang on a second. You did way worse when you were a kid.
Yeah, you
know
did
what I mean?
that when you were a kid. Yeah, no, same exact response, Casey. And I would consider doing it as an adult.
Yeah. So there's kids are riding their bikes like through my lawn and stuff, and I'm like, what the? Like it was just so wild. I was like, I look out the window, and there's a kid riding their bike like right through the middle of my lawn, which there's no reason to do that. And then I saw a kid riding a bike through neighbors' yards yesterday, and again, like my initial adult reaction is like, what the hell is that kid doing? Ah! But then I got to go, all right, he's just being a kid.
Why don't you call up your older brother and go over and
Yeah.
beat those kids up? I don't know why they're riding on your lawn. It seems kind of weird. For me, the pool hopping thing would be, a kid gets injured in your pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have it.
I mean, and you have, we have a special fence, we have a cover, we have all this stuff. Like, so one of the things I live in mortal fear of is someone, breaks in and gets injured or dies or drowns in our pool.
You're thinking like an adult.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We were thinking like children. The best is when I came home one night after a long night of pool hopping. My dad's like, so what were you doing tonight? And I'm like, I don't know, just like hanging out with my friends. He goes, Chief of Police was here. I was like, I was swimming in my neighbor's pool without their permission, you know? So like if you are going to pool hop, maybe do it where the people don't actually know you by, looking.
Sure.
You know what
Did
I
you
mean?
ever? There's a movie with Burt Lancaster from years ago. I doubt you guys have seen it, but it's called The Swimmer. It's about a guy who is in the beginning of the movie. He's in a suburban area. He looks and he notices that there are pools in every backyard, and that he could ostensibly swim home.
Oh.
And goes from pool to pool to pool throughout the movie. But what you realize is that like his life is falling apart, and he's just. It's kind of a sad, dour movie.
Yeah.
But it is kind of a cool concept that he is kind of swimming home.
Yeah.
Here's a real quick text from somebody says, fun fact, lightning bugs or fireflies are Pennsylvania's state bug.
Yeah, I looked up all of our state things.
And then wait, hold on, Nick.
Sorry.
Go back to the, there's one more.
Got it.
And it says, the big carpenter bees. We would hit those with a 6-inch spackle knife, and the sound they would make was hilarious. That sounds like a fun night.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man.
The splat as they die was just a scream.
They won't sting you or bite you, but they will wreak havoc on a wooden deck.
They have already started
God.
on mine.
They have?
Yes, and we had to get the exterminator out to spray for them because I had seen these big holes and I saw one crawl into it. I'm like, you're kidding me.
And they're like perfectly round holes.
Yep.
You think that you've actually taken a drill and done it.
We had to get a trap. They sell them at Lowe's or hardware stores or whatever for those.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, Preston, those traps are highly effective. They really work. So we did a Lowe's trip. We've been at Lowe's quite a bit over the last few weeks, but we got one there and it works. They're good for it.
Quick question, because I've heard on multiple times when we did have a straight up wooden deck when we were in Manayunk, that there's really no effective way to get rid of them. You're saying that there is this trap and everything?
The trap works.
All right.
I got rid of them. And Steve, we have like 3 different types of siding on the exterior of our house, which is a giant pain in the ass, and I want to fix that tomorrow. But in our garage, there's wood siding underneath the roof, and they would bore up into it.
Yeah.
So we hung a trap down from that slat in the garage. They collect in there, and the trap works really effectively.
Oh.
I'm getting one on the way home.
Yeah.
Today.
You just let it go. You take them to a farm.
Yeah, and then
But they can run around with other bees.
Right.
They can live and eat all the wood they want.
They can feed off the dead bodies of the pets that were left there by
Did you know that the state beverage of Pennsylvania is milk?
Milk?
Uh-huh. The state dance is the polka.
Pennsylvania. We got the lightning bugs. We got the milk.
The state fossil is the trilobite.
Oh,
the trilobite.
I love those.
That's the smallest of the fossils.
That was my favorite fossil.
Well, we're an old state.
What's your favorite fossil?
Trilobite, obviously.
Yeah,
We're from Pennsylvania.
What about the flower?
I think it's a mountain laurel. Yeah, mountain laurel.
Mountain lion.
Mountain laurel.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the flower was your favorite fossil. I'm like, that's boring. Wow.
Yeah, what do you want to? You want to be Laura Dern or Jeff Goldblum?
Why did a cougar just walk
was a
in?
mountain lion.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't hear him say that.
State food of Pennsylvania?
It's got to be a pretzel.
Chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, hey!
right.
You would think that would be something more towards where the Toll House was.
That's our state food?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. All right, well, we've learned a lot.
Yes, more than we needed.
And our state soil is Hazelton, whatever the hell that means. Oh, the state dance is polka.
Yeah.
So we'll drink some milk, dance a polka, and eat our chocolate chip cookies.
And carpenter bees with wiffle ball bats.
Oh, well, it makes sense. The state beverage is milk, chocolate chip cookies,
There we
cookies,
go.
milk. It's
Yeah.
perfect. All right.
It's well thought out.
And with this song, we will wrap things up now, friend. These are old school summer things that you can do in Pennsylvania or any state.
There's a wonderful nostalgic feel to what you just mentioned, though, that list. Those are all wonderful memories.
Totally.
You know.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back in a second. We'll get into the bizarre file when we return, so stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Cut the sandwich diagonally. Thank you.
Yes.
And it says it's official. Sandwiches cut this way actually taste better. So I love it. That's great.
Are you going to try the mayo thing?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try it.
I think I'd rather than be, I'd rather try before I deny.
Yeah.
So.
Did you just make that up?
No, it's actually from Stranger Things season 4. Argyle says that. All right, anyhow, it's National Grilled Cheese Day, so enjoy, dear friend, enjoy.
So hug a veteran.
All right, please. Thank you for your service. We're going to take a break because we have two guests coming up. One is going to bring some oddities in for us.
Yes.
For the World Oddities Expo this weekend. And the other is going to be making an appearance for the 20th anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite. Uncle Rico himself.
20 years.
John Grice is going to be joining us. So we'll be back with those guys. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kat. There was this story. It's making the rounds. And it's actually a professional baseball player. Anthony Bass plays for the Toronto Blue Jays. And, you hear discussions about plane etiquette all the time as far as, sharing the armrest and taking your shoes off and all these other things.
Pleasuring yourself?
Pleasuring yourself.
Can't do that.
So there's a little bit of a controversy or a discussion or debate that's been popping up after he had tweeted about his recent flight saga. And it actually has to do with his wife. So the 35-year-old posted on Twitter a photo of his two toddler daughters on a flight playing on electronic devices. And you can see popcorn strewn all over the seat, all over the floor. And in the accompanying caption, he wrote, by the way, his spouse is traveling alone, and she's 22 weeks pregnant. He explained that the flight attendant on the trip had, quote, made his wife clean up their kids' food mess, and he voiced outrage over the situation. He wrote, the flight attendant on United just made my 22-week pregnant wife traveling with a 5-year-old and 2-year-old get on her hands and knees to pick up the popcorn mess by my youngest daughter. And then he wrote, are you kidding me? And so he obviously thought that was out of line for them to ask her to clean that stuff up.
Right.
And people responded to that. And I'm curious as to how you guys would respond.
So in the studio here, there's a picture of what it looked like around the area.
Mm-hmm.
And what you all have kids. I do not. So
I mean, when you have a kid, if you take it to a restaurant, take it. Take the child.
What is it?
Take your baby or your whatever, your toddler to a restaurant. A mess is inherent, right? It's going to happen every single time. It happens on planes. And Steve, as a parent, you are responsible for at least making an attempt to clean up that mess, right?
All right, you just hit it. That's exactly what. So, as a non-child owner,
right?
You don't have it.
But that would be you make an effort at least.
Yes.
To clean up, to police the area a little bit. And I think somebody would say, here, let me help, or maybe the staff would assist. Just that alone gets you across the finish line.
And it's embarrassing, quite frankly, like especially at a restaurant, because you know that it's going to happen and you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But you are aware of the fact that if you have a toddler, it's going to happen. So just do the best you can to prevent it. And then when the mess inevitably does happen, clean it up as best you can.
The children were eating ribs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, I wouldn't even try to prevent it because you can't. It's going to happen. Right. However, you do more than try to clean it up. You clean it up.
All right.
In your case, you're seeing this, and because this stuff is strewn obviously around and could be. It's not like, they're asking to resurface the chairs.
And listen, I don't think she should get up every time something falls on the floor. But like at some point, yes, so sorry. Let me, pick this all up.
Looking at the photo, I could see if the mom was sitting in the chair, she may see one kernel that we can see in this photo. And if they pointed it out to her, I think I would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that they just made a mess like that. I'll clean its mess up. No, but I agree. I think you clean it up. If you had a couple little errant, if you didn't get every single last one,
right.
that's acceptable. As long as you get in there and you just start doing some cleanup. And there were texters, for the most part, did side with the airline. The overwhelming amount did. But some did go the other way and think that, no, it's and somebody had posted like, what, if your kids make a mess at the movie theater, do you clean that up off the floor? Actually, yeah. Yes.
So I get. So the point of some of the detractors are saying, well, after they get off the flight, people come in and clean the thing. But as you said, Nick, you don't just say, "Wow, they'll get it."
Yeah, they'll get it. I'll make a total mess.
You
what
have
the
to
hell?
You have to make an attempt. But there are. I mean, it's like there are two different people. There are the people that are like what we're saying is like, yes, you have to attempt to clean it up. You have to clean it up. And there are people that just don't think you have to and that it's not your job. Like, yeah, you paid to eat at the restaurant, so now you're going to leave the mess for the server to clean up. Like, there are people that just, that's how they see it.
I know.
It's weird.
Yep. And flight attendants obviously were commenting quite ferociously about this.
I've seen people, and my heart goes out to them, like at restaurants where the kids making a mess or spilling over stuff, and then and literally getting down and cleaning up stuff and picking up stuff off the floor. And I've never seen it's you feel so bad because I think parents tend to feel 10 times worse than they probably need to be if the kids are making a mess. And I think most people understand, I got it. I understand it's hard to corral this. To me, it would seem they seem very embarrassed.
Most people do.
Yeah.
Some don't.
I know.
Some do not
I know.
care.
But I also, listen, I was never embarrassed or anything. And this is like something that I tell my brothers who have new babies is like, don't shelter them because they're babies and don't take them to the restaurant. I think that's why I can go out to eat and go to a restaurant is because I took Jace from the second he was able to go to a restaurant. Like I
taught it how to behave.
No, seriously though, honestly. And like, I will say sometimes if like, he's like lounging I'm like, you're at a restaurant and he sits up because he's used to going to restaurants and he knows how to act in a restaurant.
Same with us. My parents would take us out. We went to restaurants, and, this is how you behave. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, did we screw up? Yes. But we got that course right from the beginning.
Did he get this flight attendant fired? Was there a follow-up?
Okay, so there was a follow-up, and his response was he posted an update informing his followers that United Airlines is taking care of matters with the flight attendant internally.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know, right?
So he's getting somebody's job.
But that's also him saying that. Like,
well, but if he's not saying that and it's actually the truth, and said flight attendant is now facing
right, but I'm just saying you don't know
actions.
if it is.
Okay,
there are aspects to this story that are unclear.
Yeah, like people like that who are gonna just throw that out there.
Well, Kayla wants to comment on this real quick. Let me go to her. Hi, Kayla. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Kayla?
So I just want to say I follow Sydney and her sister, Jessie James Decker. She's a music artist. She was married to football player Eric Decker. She still is, but he's no longer playing football. So she had posted about this yesterday before Anthony did. And I don't think it was that they wanted Sydney to clean up the popcorn. It was the way in which the flight attendant approached her. What I saw Sydney and Jessica originally posting yesterday was that the flight attendant came to her with a wipe. It was like, oh, the captain wants you to get every single drop of popcorn, which is kind of unrealistic when you're on a plane with two toddlers and 22 weeks pregnant. Like, obviously she was going to do her best, but to have her, like, it was just kind of more of an embarrassing situation, and the way the flight attendant went about it and what was said to her, like, you need to get every single drop.
By the way, how would the captain know? How would the captain know?
I'm sorry, sir. We have an issue in the...
We have a filthy child that's dropped popcorn all over the floor. Someone needs to kill it.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like they use that all the time. Like the captain said.
Captain doesn't know what's going on.
Captain doesn't know there's popcorn on the floor.
Yeah, I'm sure the captain didn't know, but I think it was just the way the flight attendant broached it. Like, you must get every single drop. Like, not just, hey, get what you can. Like, we understand she's two. And it was also popcorn that United had given to her. It wasn't like she brought it on the plane herself.
Yeah, I'm still thinking you got to clean it up.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It wasn't that she wasn't going to clean it up. It was just the way that they went about it and were, like, adamant that they wanted her to get every single drop and, not...
They should have said colonel instead of
not drop.
Because that's what probably confused her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. She's got baby brain.
What are you talking about? No, but I mean,
right,
so I
thank you,
think
Kayla.
both sides sort of, now listen, it doesn't give you carte blanche to be rude.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. He didn't, in this particular post, he didn't indicate anything about them being rude.
I also think, like, anyone with kids where this is happening, they know, and you just got to hope that they're going to get it. Like, to say you need to clean up every last thing. Like, who says she wasn't going to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can't wait until they're off the plane to find out that they didn't.
Oh,
do
you
that.
follow them home.
I mean, I
think I was going to follow you, did you?
I don't side with the lady whatsoever. And Kayla, like, she's calling in like she was standing there listening to every single bit of the conversation. And
there's a flight attendant at the front door.
yeah, and she wasn't there, so she doesn't know. And I'm just looking at the mess there, and you just clean up after your kids. I'm sorry that you're pregnant and that you have 2 kids with you, but
right.
I
agree. You almost sounded like Joker a little bit with the other person. When
You want to know why there's popcorn on the floor? Because it hasn't been trained properly.
Let me go.
And he carved a smile in my face.
Let me go to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Ed. How are you guys?
Good morning, Ed, buddy. What's going on?
All right, so I have 4 of those little things that tend to follow me around everywhere.
Yeah, right. Damn things.
So by like kid 2 or 3, you kind of, like Nick said,
Yeah.
You know you want this to happen, but this is going to happen.
Yes.
There's no avoiding it, so we always just kind of plan ahead. When we sit at a restaurant, I'll get a couple napkins, unfold them, and put them on the sides of the high chair. And we have, like, for when we fly and everything, we have travel, like, little map.
Oh, we're losing you.
Travel.
On there, you just bundle it up,
Little
and,
mats.
dump it out in the trash can, and move along.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you should be prepared for the mess. Yeah,
I
agree.
flew, Jeff, in fact, was it flying back from
Florida?
Florida? There was a mother and a kid next. This kid was like, mother? Like
oh yeah,
like a more traveled.
I was sitting in front of you,
right? Yes. This kid, you heard me. I kept saying, "What is this? A dwarf? What is this kid is better traveling than adults."
If you're traveling
Thanks,
with a child or a toddler, inherently, my heart goes out to you because it's a chore, right? And there's also that part of me that, like, when I'm on the plane and I hear the baby crying, it's annoying. Like, if I want to go to sleep, I get the fact that, like, it's going to get under people's skins, but as a parent, there's very little you can do to control that. Your heart has to go out to the parents.
Shell was a pro at traveling with our kids when they were babies.
She was such a pro.
She had a system.
She would help out other parents on the plane. Your wife would come on the plane with treats for other kids.
She didn't want me to fly with them because I would mess up the system.
Yes.
Yeah, I kid you not. She preferred it when we
I don't
flew
want
separately.
you there.
Yeah.
You don't know how to treat them.
Yeah.
Preston, this makes me think of this hilarious. I think it's the pilot episode of Modern Family. Cam and Mitch, the gay couple have adopted a kid. They're getting on the plane. They don't know how to travel with the kid, and so they I think it's Cam is feeding the baby some treats, and so somebody walking by goes, look at the baby with the cream puffs, and so I forget which one is Cam and which one is Matt, but the one who's the lawyer gets like, oh. A gay couple with
cream puffs,
and he's feeding him cream puffs. And then, I think Cam gets up and goes, "We'd like to pay for beverages for everyone."
All right, so here's a different side of this conversation that somebody texted in about. So this says, my husband gets peanuts at the
93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
We're going to start with a big news story, actually. Did you guys see that Mount Etna erupted in Sicily?
Yeah. Just watching the video this morning. It's wild.
And you can see tourists fleeing as a huge column of gas and ash escaped and spewed into the sky. It was the volcano's largest eruption in 4 years, the experts said. Footage shared to social media showed people running for their lives down the mountainside of Europe's largest and most active volcano as a thick column of smoke intensified above them. There's an interesting term I'd never heard before, and it's one of the reasons I bring up this story. A gentleman by the name of Stefano Branca, director of Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, said such intense volcanic activity had not been recorded since February 2021. The agency said the volcano was experiencing strong Strombolian explosions.
Delish.
Strombolian.
It's raining meatballs.
That has to be where that comes from, right? Where Stromboli, the name, has got to have some kind of volcanic origin to it, I'm guessing. So a Strombolian explosion is a type of eruption, and it was experiencing some growing intensity. So ash has been falling in the Piano Vittoria area, the statement said, and they have since announced that the eruption is over. According to the Volcanic Discovery website, prior to the eruption, there were volcanic tremors, which began around 10 p.m. local time and reached their peak shortly before 1 a.m.
So Stromboli is an island that's just north of Sicily, Preston. It's a volcanic island, and so it's in the same volcanic chain as Mount Etna. So the Stromboli type of explosion comes from the name of that island, and that's also where the food is from.
Wow. The Volcanic Ash Advisory Center in Toulouse warned that a volcanic ash plume had reached an altitude of 6,400 meters.
They were fearing it would cause a lasagna slide.
Actually, isn't the Stromboli? We met the guys down in the...
We did.
Yeah. And they named it after the movie, which was named after this island.
God, I would love a lasagna slide.
Yeah.
I love lasagna.
I do,
the idea
too.
of that much lasagna.
Oh, my God.
Makes me really happy.
Lasagna, well, not to go off on a tangent here, but when they make what they call like the world's largest this, and it just is a bunch of different lasagnas put together, there was a place that actually did, I forget what town it was, but made a full lasagna, like one
single
sheet.
baked.
Yes.
Wow.
It was amazing.
So they downgraded the threat level to yellow late Monday afternoon for the volcano. There was a buzz in the air Friday in northwestern Washington state.
Carpenter bees.
250 million honeybees.
Oh. Wow.
Escaped a commercial truck that had overturned. The truck hauling an estimated 70,000 pounds of honeybee hives rolled over at about 4 a.m. close to the Canadian border. It appears the driver did not navigate a tight turn well enough, causing the trailer to roll into a ditch.
Bees!
Yeah.
Bees! Bees in the car! Bees everywhere!
Deputies,
Were they sting crazy?
County Public Works employees, and several bee experts responded to the scene. The box hives later came off the truck, and local beekeepers swarmed to help recover, restore, and reset the hives. The plan actually is to allow the bees to return to their hives and find their queen bee in the next day or two, according to the sheriff's office. The goal is to save as many of the bees as possible. The public advised you to avoid the area on Friday. And sheriff's deputies dove into their squad cars at times to avoid being stung. Honeybees are crucial to the food supply, pollinating over 100 crops, including nuts, vegetables, berries, citrus, and melons. And bees and other pollinators have been declining for years. Experts blame insecticides, parasites, disease, climate change, and lack of diverse food supply.
So when my wife got into the beekeeping and she picked up her bees, she had basically like 1,000+ bees in a container in her car. And I'm like, could you imagine?
I'd be a little nervous. Yeah. A Modesto, California man is accused of breaking into a woman's house and then biting and licking her toes while she slept. The Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office said this happened shortly after midnight on May 21st. Christian Anguiano allegedly began stalking the woman at her job in February, though other employees at the business confronted Anguiano on multiple occasions. Investigators said that his behavior escalated to the point that he would follow the woman home after her shifts and sleep in his car outside the residence.
Like having your back rubbed?
Witnesses reported that Anguiano tried checking doors to the home in the week leading up to the incident in an attempt to gain entry. He was
sucker!
Positively identified as the suspect through witness statements and surveillance footage. On the night of the incident, after he allegedly put the woman's toes in his mouth, he is accused of trying to get into bed with her. The victim was able to push him off and retrieve her phone and call 911. He fled the scene, but was located near the woman's home the next day and taken into custody.
You had a similar story years ago about a woman who was woken by a guy sucking on her toes.
Yeah, it happens. He was booked into the county jail. He's facing a whole litany of charges. Bail was set at $325,000. All right, out of the United Kingdom, a business called B&Q was forced to apologize after it advertised a storage unit as, quote, easy to assemble even if you're a girl, according to reports. The do-it-yourself shop listed a flat-back bamboo bathroom shelf on its website with information easy to assemble the cabinet even if you're a girl.
Let me tell you how easy this is to assemble. Even if you're learning disabled, you can assemble this right now.
It
or
said
a girl.
The inappropriate...
Or maybe you're an amputee.
The remark had come from a third-party seller and apologized for any offense caused. Tall storage cabinet is perfect for saving space. Slim design to fit almost in any corner, the information read. 3 shelves provide plenty of storage to keep essentials organized and neat, and the cabinet door provides added privacy. Easy to assemble the cabinet, even if you're a girl.
How many eyes do you think that went past before it went out the door and everyone nodded and said, oh, yeah, that's good. We can go with that.
It comes after the do-it-yourself shop launched a Do the Lift Thing campaign to showcase tradeswomen breaking down barriers. The project wanted to highlight the new movement of women in trades while spotlighting the barriers preventing more girls and women entering the field. But a B&Q spokesperson said, we apologize for any offense caused by this inappropriate description, a product offered by a third-party seller.
Oh.
This listing has now been removed. That happens from time to time. The third party will slap on something that the manufacturer will be like, what in the hell?
Even bitches can do it.
Yeah, and that is where we will end the bizarre file. All right, we will take another break. We'll get back in a second. Lesson question is queued up next, and we'll get trash and music news as well. So make sure you stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Drops all the shells on the ground under his seat. It bothers me so much, but he acts like it's no big deal.
You know what? So here's the deal.
I'm a
you
hypocrite.
actually raised a
That's
good
what
question.
you do there.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the ground rounds?
Of course.
That was part of their thing?
That was
And
their thing. You could throw peanuts on the ground, the shells. It was no big deal. It's expected.
I went to a urologist who had the same policy.
Wow.
That was the same policy, you know. A medical waste. No, but so that at a ball game,
Peanuts.
Do you collect up your peanut shells?
And sunflower seeds. People spit them out.
How do they clean up the seeds? Because I've never actually stuck around to see how all that stuff is done.
A leaf blower, right?
Is it a leaf blower?
Don't they come through and like literally blow down the sections?
Yeah.
Would you hold on to the shells and put it in a cup or whatever?
No,
No, right on the floor.
I do the ground thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
because it's
Total
it's what
hypocrite.
everybody does.
So you just like when talked about this woman, she has to clean up.
Well,
Now you're tossing peanut shells at your feet.
but I
it's
wouldn't
at
do
a
it on a
ball.
plane.
It's at a ballpark.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of
still.
Now,
I would put it in a cup, Kathy.
Hang on, I wouldn't leave my empty beer cups and other trash.
Stool.
But I'm facing my hypocrisy here. But peanut shells, they go right on the ground.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
They're biodegradable.
They're biodegradable.
Yes. You're outside.
It's good for the environment. We're making compost over here.
Yeah.
I do keep it in my area. Like I will try not to do it to the row in front of me.
I'll tell you the delineation. If you're eating peanuts or popcorn in a theater, you're not going to.
No.
You're not going to do that.
Yep.
Because that's indoors. This is an outdoor park. I can understand the gray area there. I probably would still, put the shells in a cup or something, or on the person in front of me's head.
Yeah, so I was a busboy, I was a waiter, and I also cleaned the cafeteria at college, right? So after lunch and dinner, I would clean the cafeteria, and that one pissed me off because when you go get your food, you get it on a tray, and when you're done with your meal, you take the tray and you put it right. There were racks for you to put your trays, and nobody would ever do that. So. This is not me bitching about that, but it gave me more of an appreciation. So I tend to clean up after myself. Like if I go out to eat with, whether I'm with the children or not, I will, when I'm done, kind of like stack and put everything
it on the
together
tray.
And,
put it on the tray and bring the tray back up. That's what you do.
We try to make it as efficient for the server or busboy as we possibly can. It's just something we've always done. I mean, Rochelle was a server. I worked in a restaurant. I was in the kitchen. So
you're pre-bussing.
We kind of pre-bus the table. I don't fully do the wipe down or anything like that.
But you'll refinish
it.
it.
I collect everything. Yeah, we'll put a little lacquer on it.
I sand it
We'll
down.
stain.
You got to sand it down first.
Yes.
Right.
Then you got to clean up.
Yeah. Hang on. I want to go to Steph, who is a server. Hi, Stephanie. Good morning.
Morning. Sorry to bother you at work.
Nah. What's up, Steph?
So I'm a server. One, I want to agree with Casey. That girl has no idea what went on that flight. She was not there.
All right.
Casey.
Okay.
Second, I watch people all the time come in with kids. 1, 2, 3 kids. Sometimes it's just 1 and 2 parents, but the kid will outnumber them no matter what. Mess everywhere. I see them start to clean up. I'll usually stop them because they made the attempt. Just making the attempt made me happy.
Okay.
In fact, I like when they just wipe it right on the floor. It's so much easier just to sweep it up. I'm okay with that. But at least try. At least try.
So what we said earlier, and I think that's it. Just that effort alone for you, and you deal with this all the time, makes all the difference in the world.
That's right. Never
All right.
be presumptuous. Thank you.
All right. There we
Thank
go.
you.
See, from
Appreciate it,
a
Steph.
professional.
Hang on here. Pat has a comment. Hi, Pat. Good morning.
Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning, man. What's up, Pat?
Patrick. I just wanted to say, on the other end of it, when a flight's over, I mean, they do clean the planes, right? In that situation, I see a pregnant woman, there's a mess on the floor, and I'm an employee there, I'm probably going to talk crap about them behind their back, but I'm probably just going to grab a vacuum and clean it up before I go tell a pregnant woman to get on the floor and clean it up.
So, Pat, you're the passenger who's supposed to get onto the next plane, right? And your flight's at 1:30, and you got to wait for the flight attendants to clean up after all the kids that are on the plane. You can't board the plane until the flight attendants clean everything up. So, what you're saying here now is all right, well, there's 150 people on the plane. Everybody can make a mess, and the flight attendant's got to clean it up.
I mean, I could probably, with a little dustbuster, clean out my popcorn in about 10 seconds.
No, so what? They come in, they're ready to go, and they can clean it up. However, just would it be too much to make an effort, Pat? I think that's what people are saying. Is that
not at all? Not at all. But I'm just saying, rather than end up on the news, just grab a dustbuster.
You got to understand, there's literally nothing else going on in the world than this.
That's the thing.
And that's why it cut through.
It's on the news not because of the flight attendant, but because of the privileged
celebrity
baseball player.
Yeah,
He's a baseball player.
Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting. All right, Pat. Thanks for your 2 cents. Let me see. I will go to. Hang on a second. Peter. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Peter.
First of all, as Pierre would say, it could have been avoided. To Nick's point, it's going to happen. Parents, though, can be a little bit responsible, but giving a kid a toddler popcorn is like giving them a glitter bomb. It's going to end up everywhere. And in a public location, come on, man, a little foresight.
Are you talking about on the airlines side?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Because the airline gave him the popcorn.
Yeah.
So something that's more containable as a treat or to keep the kid occupied, anything other than popcorn.
Well, my understanding is they usually hand out to the kids, they'll hand out gravy boats.
Oh, okay. Well, no, listen, any snack item you're going to give to a kid is like that. We're talking about Cheerios. We're talking about pretzels and things like that. So it's going to make a mess, no matter what. I mean, here, we keep calling these kids it. All right. Well, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's not trained.
It's angry.
That sounded horrible. Oh, my God. I will.
You spilled it all over the floor.
I have Mike. Hey, Mike, good morning.
Hey, bitches.
Hey, what? What's up, Mike?
How you doing?
Good. What's up, buddy?
A bunch of years ago, when my son was a lot younger, we were shopping at Acme, and he accidentally knocked over a display and knocked over a bunch of stuff. So he looked at me, I looked at him, and I said, you know what you need to do right now, right? He said, clean it up. I said, that's my boy.
There you go.
He started cleaning it up. No muss, no fuss. Next thing I know, a woman comes around the corner, sees what's going on, and chastises me because my son's cleaning up his own mess. And she started to clean it up for him.
Wait, this was a customer, a fellow customer?
Yeah, just some random person.
Was it a woman? Does a woman just butted into your thing?
What's that?
A woman just started criticizing you out of the blue? Was that who came around the corner?
I think we lost it. Yeah, it was a fellow customer.
Yeah.
Who said that? I think I'd mind your own goddamn business.
I'd punch her right in the face.
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I was furious. I looked at her. I said, he's my son. Nobody's upset. I'm not yelling. He's simply cleaning up his mess as if he was home.
No, that's your business. You told him to do the right thing. If somebody knocks over a display, you're supposed to at least again make the effort and try to do that. Yeah. You were right. Exactly. She was wrong.
And I looked at my son. I was like, thank you for being more mature than that person was.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mike, I hope you follow
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, get your nose out of this guy's business.
Listen, Preston, have you ever I've seen adults knock stuff over and walk away. Not even kids.
Yeah.
The other day, so I'm in Acme, and if anyone Acme has wonderful chocolate chip cookies, and then they have these smaller versions now that are perfect to have with tea. So there's in one of those plastic containers, where all four parts of the corners the little dimples have to lock for it to hold. So I'm walking around, and of course I have a little bit too much in my hands, and it falls on the floor. Yeah. And I'm like, so what?
Yeah.
This is how I did it. And you can tell me whether I'm wrong or not. I collected up everything. I put it back into the container. I took the bar code off of it and went up and checked out 2 because I dropped one of their things they were attempting to sell and made it unsellable. And so that's how I did it. I've seen adults.
They didn't make you pay for it, I'm sure, right?
I paid for it at the self-checkout just for the hell. I felt bad that I ruined a product. I know that might be a bridge too far for some people, but cleaning it up was the thing as well.
Right.
And man, those cookies were rolling all over the place.
I broke a bottle. I was at a liquor store, and I went back into the cooler because they had beer there too, and I had a bottle of gin, and I dropped. Or no, I went outside. Actually, I went outside. I had just bought it, and I dropped it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! I broke this full bottle, and I brought it back in. I'm like,
look what your bottle did.
They said as long as the seal wasn't broken, that I could get a replacement.
Oh, nice.
So it was. They.
That's pretty nice.
They have that in place.
Did you pick up the pieces of glass or whatever? Or
I couldn't. I mean, I told them that I made a mess, and of course they were gonna. I can't go picking up glass. I don't have a broom or the dustbin.
What I can do.
Hey, give us on 93.3 WMMR's Drive, Preston and Steve radio program at 10:17 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. We'll get our winner for Tat Tuesday in a little bit. We're not too far off from that, but we've got some other things to give away between now and then. One of them being a lesson question prize. So let's get right into that. We're going to give away pair of tickets as MMR rocks The Revivalist, and they're going to be playing September 26th, Parks Casino Excite Center. And tickets available at parkscasino.com, but we will give them away now. If you can answer, all right, I don't do this often, but it was just a few minutes ago, and I can't help it. What geological disaster is likely to follow a Strombolian volcanic explosion? Right, it was like 15 minutes ago. What geologic disaster is likely to follow a Strombolian volcanic explosion? If you do know the answer to that, call 610-660-9333. We'll see if you can get on and answer and win that prize. So good luck to you.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by A.D. Moyer, trusted expert since 1939. A.D. Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. And you can visit them on the web at admoyer.com. What's going on this morning, Steve?
Well, actress Leighton Meester explaining her decision to distance herself from a pop music album she released in 2009. Meester said she refused to sell out by producing music people enjoyed listening to or wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Actor David Lim admitting that while he's disappointed by the cancellation of the series SWAT, he's excited for the spin-off coming in the fall. Lim says people will finally get to know about the men and women of Tactical Weapons and Tactics, or TWAT.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Rachel Lee Cook and Freddie Prinze Jr., this is pretty wild, are going to star in a new Christmas movie being labeled as an unofficial sequel to She's All That, which was filmed 26 years ago. Producers say the movie will candidly acknowledge the passage of time and will be titled, What the Hell Is That?
Who did you mention will be in that, Steve?
Rachel Lee Cook.
So Rachel Lee Cook will be in that.
Prinze Jr., yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long, long time.
Yeah, she looks good.
Love it.
And he
All
does
right.
as well.
Let's see if you know what the geologic disaster is likely to follow a Strombolian volcanic explosion. And we're going to go to Dave, see if he knows. Hey, Dave, good morning.
Morning, you guys rock.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. All right, what geological disaster is likely to follow a Strombolian volcanic explosion?
A lasagna slide.
Yes. Lasagna slide. That is correct. Hang on, and we are going to set you up with tickets as MMR Rocks The Revivalist Saturday, September 26th, Parks Casino Excite Center. Tickets for all upcoming events at parkscasino.com. Must be 21 or older. Parks Casino, this is how you win.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Yeah. I never thought this would happen, but music news story we're going to lead with is about Rick Astley.
What?
Rick Astley's hit song, Never Gonna Give You Up, has officially passed 1 billion streams on Spotify.
You know what drove that?
Well, yeah, the Rickrolls.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So the track first came out back in 1987 as part of Astley's album Whenever You Need Somebody, and it has become one of the most popular memes around the internet over the years with people tricking their friends and accidentally playing the music video. And the singer shared in a statement saying, I never could have imagined back in 1987 that Never Gonna Give You Up would still be going strong decades later. Reaching 1 billion streams is something I never dreamed of. And to everyone who's ever listened, I thank you.
Do you know it's been sort of a revelation is how much more nuanced and varied his musical capabilities are.
Yeah.
He's actually a solid musician and songwriter, and he's done work with a lot of other musicians.
Yep, and he's got a very powerful voice.
Yeah.
For a very skinny guy.
The original thing was that it just seemed like a fake voice. Like there was that voice was coming out of that body.
Yep. All right, Paul McCartney and Steven Tyler ran into each other in New York City this week.
Get out of the way!
Yes.
You old lady! Oh, it's Steven.
TMZ was able to spot the two rockers who bumped into each other outside of the Surrey Hotel on the Upper East Side.
Surrey.
In a totally random coincidence.
It's Joey Behar. No, Steven Tyler.
Paul made his way over to Tyler, and the two had a quick chat before the Beatles member made his way into the hotel, and that was it. Just a random quick meetup of two music icons.
Wow, yes.
Tears for Fears have added 6 more shows to their Las Vegas show at Blue Live Theater in Fontainebleau, Las Vegas.
One of my favorite bands of all time.
The new batch of shows, part of their limited engagement, Songs from a Nervous Planet, will take place September 24th through October 25th. Tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday at 10 a.m.
They're in my list of best concert experiences ever. Their concert at the Beacon Theater in New York was one of the greatest concerts I ever saw.
Nice. All right, and then finally, I have some mentions about, some events coming up. Dorothy, the Redemption Tour, with special guest Eddie and the Getaway.
I thought you said Eddie and the Cruisers.
Nope. Will be happening Tuesday, September 9th at Music Fest Cafe in Bethlehem, and tickets go on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster, 10 a.m. Also, MMR Rocks, Paul Reiser. Yeah, from Mad About You and Stranger Things and all that. And we've had him on the show before. Great stand-up for years and years. I assume it's a music performance because he's an accomplished pianist and songwriter and singer, actually. Saturday, November 15th at the Keswick Theater.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he wrote the Mad About You theme, and that's him singing on it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, he and Michael McDonald are really good friends. He actually talked him into writing his memoir and helped him out with it as well.
Isn't that wild?
Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at KeswickTheater.com. That's one I might go see.
Paul Reiser wrote the song Jeremy for Pearl Jam.
I had no idea about.
I got an idea.
And then Ben Burley of Breaking Benjamin Unplugged, featuring Lacey and Josh Strum. That show will be Thursday, July 17th at the Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa. And tickets also go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. And you can get those at theborgata.com. So a lot of interesting shows coming up in the area. All right, there you go. That's what I have in music news for you. We're going to take another break. When we get back, Ryan Shuttleworth in for Pierre again today, and he'll get the letter of the day for us. We'll find out what he's got going on as well. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Commercial on the radio show.
Hang on a second. Hold on now. Chris is a flight attendant. Hi.
All right.
Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's up, Chris?
So I'm a flight attendant, and kids come on all the time and make a mess. So do adults. But I would never have them clean up the mess. I mean, we talk about them afterwards and say what slobs they are and love to see what their house looks like. But we never get them on their knees or even ask them to clean it up. We just talk about them afterwards.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So
do you think this flight attendant was out of line to say? And I don't know how they said it. I don't know if they said, "Oh, ma'am, could you please? Your kid made a terrible mess here. Can you clean it up?"
Goodness, I would never have even adjusted. I just talk about it and afterwards.
Well, let me ask you, Chris, what is the one thing that passengers can do that are guaranteed to make the flight attendants talk about you? What do flight attendants hate the most?
Oh gosh, taking their shoes off. constantly getting up and down or leaving the overheads open.
Okay.
And leaving a mess. I actually had an adult that went and he came on and he ripped up, he was mad, and he ripped up the entire safety demo card. And I saw him doing something, and I thought he might have been doing that. And I thought, I'll just clean up his mess later. And he was just angry about his seat and everything. And as he was deplaning, he threw it all up as confetti, and it went everywhere.
Oh, my God.
What an idiot. Hey.
So it's not just kids.
And he did this just because he wanted to, or he thinks that the safety features are a joke, or we have no idea?
He's annoyed about his seating.
He's annoyed about his seating. Okay.
So you tear up the safety card.
But wait a minute, the shoes thing? Come on, man. I have like little slip-on shoes. In fact, I just took them off. I just took them off right now.
I don't care what people think.
The planes are cleaned, they're not really cleaned well. And, when you get to a city and you have a quick turn, you're lucky that we get all the trash out of the seat pockets before we have to board everybody.
Right.
Also, they're adults. They can keep their shoes on, Chris.
Oh, no. No, they're not.
No, I mean, honestly, you, Kathy, Chris, whoever, you guys can think and say whatever the freak you want. I don't care.
As long
My
as
shoes are coming
as long
off.
as your feet don't smell.
Yeah.
So what?
You're
Do
not
you
at home.
know, though? Are you nose blind?
I am not nose blind
No,
to my feet.
I'm taking my shoes off. I don't give a crap.
Mine are off right
Well,
now.
Chris is a professional, says to keep your stinky feet in your
I'm
shoes.
with you, Chris.
Tough crap. I'm
I don't
taking
have
them off.
stinky feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Come down with ice on, spray your feet.
Yes, spray your feet with Axe body spray.
You don't even use soap
That
to
would
wash
be
your
worse.
You don't even use soap to wash your feet. Don't say they're clean.
There is soap that travels all down my body that eventually ends up on my feet. My feet are squeaky.
Chris, Preston does it. Kathy says Preston doesn't wash his feet.
He doesn't.
Can you imagine that?
He lets the soap run down his legs.
It just runs down
She
his
knows.
legs.
She knows.
Exactly. I think though they also give you the little slippers so you can put them on, right?
No, I don't want slippers on. I want my
Who gives you
socks.
slippers?
Well, you just in your socks. You're not your bare feet. Then you're fine.
Exactly. Yes. I don't take my socks off. I'm not an animal.
Casey
Come on,
probably
man.
does.
Casey, do you
don't.
take your socks off?
No, and I resent you for saying that, Kathy.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Chris.
They should give you slippers, though, right? Like as long as we're tossing stuff out there.
Excuse me. It just took its socks off.
I don't know. Slippers?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Do
Do you guys ever wear them?
I did once. I hated them.
What, on the plane or at home?
No. At home, around the house.
There's slipper season. Hell yeah.
Right now?
All
No,
year,
we're coming out of.
Yeah, we're coming out
we're
of
almost done.
slippers.
Yeah,
season.
No.
We're in flip-flop season now.
I never
year.
wear.
Casey, I can't believe he just asked who wears slippers.
I wear
Casey-
slippers.
Casey and I wear the same UGG slippers. If you don't wear slippers, you have to get these and you'll wear slippers.
Okay. I do like slippers.
Yeah.
I will wear
I'll
the
try them out.
sneakers or whatever my footwear was, unless it's like formal stuff.
Yeah.
I'll switch. You don't know if a deer is going to come jumping through that window.
don't.
Right. You
You got to be able.
That's why you keep your slippers by the door. You
No, you
jump
gotta
in
wear
and
them.
get out of
sneakers
there.
by the door.
I can go outside with slippers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
totally.
these
In an
are like
emergency.
rugged outdoor, indoor
Yeah.
slippers.
They're
yeah.
tactical slippers.
Yeah. Those are I would say more of the colder weather slippers.
Sure.
I have warm weather slippers as well.
So do cold weather slippers, that coincides with sweatshirt season, right?
I think so.
They're the same, like hoodie season?
Yeah.
okay.
Yellowstone
are
pajama
cold.
pants season. Yes.
We're working our way into foot bath season, by
Real
the way.
quick, I just want to ask Casey one question because I think here's where we're going to separate. Do you actually wear those slippers outside?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Not like
now we're on different pages.
Well, like to take the trash out or something like that.
Take the
If it's
trash
chilly,
out,
you got to run
or-
outside real quick, go get the mail,
Stomp down the mulch.
Or
Yes.
if I'm like I got to go pick somebody up from not class, but like practice or something
Oh,
like
she
that. If I'm
just
gonna be
got
in the car.
side-eyed by Kathy on
I'm
that.
like wearing
driving.
pajama pants to Wawa.
Yeah, but that's what the
Oh,
kids are
dude,
doing.
I want to get a group of people to go to Wawa in pajama pants because it's very freeing.
Talk
I
is
love
cheap.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's do
Let's
it.
rent a bus of people. We'll get rent a bus. We'll get everyone in their pajama.
Yep.
And socks, no shoes.
I would love to do that. All right, hang on. I want to go to Todd, who worked in a store that kids would frequently mess up. Hey, Todd, good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
Good, buddy. What's going on?
So I actually have an interesting story. One of our beloved Philadelphia Flyers, I'm just going to keep his name private.
Okay.
He came in with his wife and his two little crotch goblins, and the kids were running all over the place. They were throwing pillows all over the floor. They had like cookies or.
This is a mattress store that you work at, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and look, it's expected. You know, I've had it a million times where people come in and they throw pillows around.
Right.
It happens. You know, I get it. But the idea is, like, at the bare minimum, tell your kids, pick the stuff up.
Yeah.
Or make an attempt to just, before you leave, follow them around and pick stuff up.
Sure.
That's all you ask.
When they left the you know, like I said, our beloved Philadelphia Flyer, and his wife did nothing to pick anything up. They walked out. Now, they bought a lot. I was happy with them because they bought a lot. I got a good commission from it. But
Green Day, She, 93.3 WMMR. It's everything that rocks. And bringing us up to 10:31 on this Tuesday morning. Warm today. We mentioned it a few times. Over 80 degrees. Could top out as high as 84 degrees. And lots of sunshine. Tomorrow, sunny high 88. And then Thursday, we'll be in the 90s, partly cloudy skies. And it's going to kind of stay up in the 80s for a while, at least the short foreseeable future. So we'll see how that works out. But warm, nonetheless, today. Congratulations again to Amanda Gimber from Perkiomen Valley High School. She was the latest Schools teacher announcement that we made. And tomorrow we have Gwynedd Mercy Academy that we will announce winner for. And if you are a student, you can text word teacher to 610-660-9333, and we'll send you a voting link, and you can vote. And possibly your favorite teacher will end up being the one that wins tomorrow morning. Let's see. Also wanted to thank Steve Guttenberg for being on the show today. And he was promoting Kidnapped by a Killer, the Heather Robinson story. And he plays this serial killer that kills this woman, essentially gets her baby, and then manages to convince his brother to adopt that baby. The child is raised thinking that this is her family, and actually the murderer is right there the whole time of her mom. It's pretty psychotic, and he looks incredibly freaky and
intense for Steve Guttenberg. And by the way, this is a true story, and that guy was a serial killer, went on to murder 4 or 5 more women.
So that's on Saturday on Lifetime, if you were interested. Ryan Shuttleworth.
Hello, friends.
Joining us today. Nice to see you again, son.
Pleasure to be seen.
Is it indeed warm out?
It is nice. It is better than the cold. I'm not a big fan of the cold, or especially the snow, so I would like a little bit of spring, but I'll take summer. What the hell?
Yeah, a little bit more spring would be nice, but you don't want to. I know Pierre hates it when we vault right into summer weather. But listen, technically it's still spring, so.
I can roll the windows down and enjoy the day. So
there you go.
One of those days.
Speaking of the Duke, he'll be back tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yes.
Okay, but you've got the reins today.
So they tell me.
Let's do the letter, and then we'll find out what you got coming.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
And the Preston and Steve Show brought to you today by the letter
R as in ravioli.
All right, we're going to be giving away a pair of padded passes. Pair of padded passes for the NASCAR Cup Series. Great American Getaway 400, Sunday, June 22nd at Pocono Raceway, including access to the media party, Plaza, and Chalet Village as well. And it's time to start your summer as NASCAR returns on June 20th through the 22nd to the Tricky Triangle at Pocono. More information, you can get your tickets. Head to PoconoRaceway.com for that. Before we find out what Ryan has going on, that's the wrong button to hit. It is Tattoos Day.
Yes, it is.
So let's do that. And we want to congratulate Mr. Joe Morgan of Blackwood, New Jersey. Joe is going to get a $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. Check out their artwork samples at floatingworldtattoos.com or go to Instagram and do a quick search on Floating World Tattoos, and you will find them. And we thank them and we congratulate Joe. All right, what's up today, dude?
All right, Double Shot Tuesday, so we'll get double trouble of all your favorite bands. Tickets for Queens of the Stone Age next Friday down in AC. The workforce blocks include The Police, some Soundgarden, and Rob Zombie. Also, it is a very special heavy metal birthday. We'll have some fun with that later on as well.
Find out who it is in a little while. Thank you, Ryan. All right, now the music. All right. President Steve Show brought to you today by Dunkin'. And the President Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, And Family and Company Jewelers, ditch the ties and gift cards and get Dad a unique gift this year, familyjewelers.com. Tomorrow on our program, on Wednesday, we'll check in with Fox Good Day. And we'll have comedian Matt McCusker on the program. And we'll find out why he hates me.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. I know. It's a story that goes way back, but it should be kind of fun. So we'll get into that and some other things. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye.
Preston and Steve.